3000.
What is doing? I hate doing it, but I'd like everyone to like, subscribe, share the content. Sharing is really important. If you like the content that I'm bringing you with the 3000 podcast, you want to help us grow, make sure you do all that stuff. Follow us on Instagram, like, subscribe, share, do all that good shit. Now to the episode.
1000.
What is doing? My name's Maloney. This is the 3000 podcast. I'm joined today by a rapper, an artist, a cooker, not a cooker, a cook.
And a cooker.
a cooker, and a dude who likes to cook, Ivan Ooze, a.k.a. Young Cook God. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you for having me, sir.
You are not a cooker, for the record, but you like to cook stuff, which we'll be talking about.
Yes.
As well as rapping, you like to do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
You're an artist. You're about to go on tour. There's a lot to talk about, man.
There's a heap.
A heap to talk about. All right, so let's bring it back to the beginning, dude.
Sweet.
Whereabouts you grew up and how did a young Ivan Ooze become fucking Ivan Ooze?
Well, man, I grew up in Ringwood, 3134. I pretty much started at a young age rapping when I was mad young. I used to really like do a lot of acting. Just hang around with just people that enjoyed rap. And so I remember I used to rap in front of like the heater watching like VH1. Like when I was little, because that's what
Foxtel days.
Yeah, literally when they used to have Optus. Like we didn't have Foxtel because it was too expensive. So so we just sort of like ran off that.
Vision.
I
forgot about that.
Yeah. Like it was like the equivalent of Ozstar, like in the country.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty wild. And then I used to have like VH1. I used to watch like Yo MTV Raps, Beavis and Butthead, like shit like that. So I think that getting into like rap was very like easy because like it was so much hip hop on TV at the time.
Yeah.
And then I remember doing a talent show when I was like in year 3 and I did like Busta Rhymes, Break Your Neck, I'm pretty sure. Ooh. And I just pretty much like rapped over it and it was mad. But all teachers were just like, what the fuck? Like why is this kid rapping? But yeah, it was pretty sick. And then it evolved and like became something more when I linked up with some guys that were in the Honeycomb Hideout, which was like Vanguard and stuff like that. So I used to, we used to just rap all the fucking time, hang out with each other, just pretty much just do gigs. And then I started doing different sort of hip hop, and then it progressed. And then I started like branching off, doing my own stuff. I was pretty motivated to just like get songs out. So anything that I recorded, whether it be something that was like really mediocre or something that was just like, I just liked, or however it was recorded, I'd just pump it out. And I think that the more that at the time, the quantity over quality, sort of pushed it out more. And so I started doing like freestyle rapping and whatnot. And then, took it from there.
So then at that time, what are we talking? It's like the sort of 2010-ish when you started to put music out?
Yeah, I'd probably say around about then. I started doing like Triple J and Earth sort of stuff when they used to have like the charts, and like you'd have to post like reviews, and then like you'd go up the charts more, so you'd get all your mates to like be like, hey, can you do this for me or whatever, and like something, there'd always be like a song that was up the top, probably including mine as well, that would be just like really fucking like shitly mixed, like it sounded like it was recorded like through like a fucking horn or some shit like that, like just crazy. And it'd always like get to the top and like you'd be like #1 on like the Triple J charts, man, gotta keep listening to my stuff, like buy me on iTunes and shit. And then and so I just sort of like was flogging it through Bandcamp. So
and what were you recording it on then? You were just like MacBook and just basic sort of primitive stuff?
Dude, I was recording on this Behringer mic that had I used to record through a 6-stack like tape player.
Wow.
It was crazy, man. And then I used to like run it. I don't even really remember what the equipment was, but I used to run that into like my PC and record on Audacity. So then it would like record through. Dude, it was fucked, man. The setup was so ghetto. And then
lo-fi as fuck.
Yeah, and you don't have to get everything first shot. So I think that that's probably like the reason why majority of my stuff, like when I am doing it now, like I'll get the verse and I'll be like, I'm going to record it. And as soon as I record it, I'm just like, yep, happy with it. Like that's how it should sound, instead of like refining it. So majority of the stuff, if I ever do record now, is normally just like straight up. Like I've picked up my mic and I'm just like, and then I'm like, all right, that's good.
Yeah, that's what you just did then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, which is a good way to be, man, because also like when you start to get into professional studios, you're not wasting time,
Yeah, I'm very much time is like my currency, I guess. So like I want to spend I do want to spend time to make stuff good, and like definitely like when I've got the skeletons of a song, that's when I sort of like spend a lot of time on songs. So like I'll be like, all right, this song sounds sick as it is right now. How can I make it better? and then like go through like doubles, fucking ad libs, like all that sort of shit, like working the dropout beat, like all of that sort of stuff. So I think I've slowly learnt that over time. But I mean, there's some days where you try and like rap something and your voice might not sound the same, or it's not in your head as you would like it to be on the track. Yep. And like you just sort of get in that, but I try and like avoid it because I don't want to spend heaps of time. Like I just want to be able to do that and be like, all right, well, this is done. This sounds great. Now, how am I going to fucking pump out the rest of this stuff? How am I going to market it? So it's like,
man, you're definitely attacking it with some ferocity, ferociousness.
Yeah.
Like that sort of mentality is like, let's just put it out is the best way to do it, I think, especially for younger artists, because people sit on stuff, and I'll even have people send me stuff that want to come on this podcast and they've got one track out there. I'm like, dude, that might be the most perfect track in your eyes, but have like 20 tracks.
Yeah, 100%. Like you just have to, I would say like the number one thing would be like to get better at something, you have to push it out, because people will tell you like what is good and what isn't good, and like you can tell as well. And so it sort of like navigates you into a direction where like if you're sitting on a bunch of shit and you think that something's like crazy good or crazy, like, you know, you love that song and you put it out and it doesn't get what you're like sort of after, you can get discouraged. Where like if you just keep putting out like stuff, like you sort of find the avenue that you sit in, and you can also like have a better direction as to where you need to go. Or that's how I feel anyway about it.
Yeah, man. No, it's a very level-headed way to be. And the thing is, like, you can think in your own head as an artist that this is the best thing you've ever made, but the public will judge that for you.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I would prefer the public to judge it, because, I mean, like, even if I've got songs that I fucking love and I know that people fucking hate them, and I'm just like, that's sweet. Like, I'm chill as with just knowing that like I really like a song, and also like I make shit for me. Like if I want it to be out there, even if it was a freestyle that was recorded on a fucking like just on my fucking headset, like, and I was like, man, this sounds sick, like I'm sort of down for this, I'm just gonna put this out, like I would, because that's how I feel about it. I just think that like every sort of artistic trait that anybody has, like if whether it be like drawing or like fucking like graph or anything like that, like it should be out there, you should pump it out. And like if you're not, then you sort of like hiding your talents. And I think that that's something where it's like when you're shining them, like that's when shit starts happening.
Yeah, and learn as you go with anything like that, you know?
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Like it's like job experience, like or whatever you want to do, practice in the field, go out there and do it, put your shit out there.
Legit, you got to be in the field.
Yeah. So when you were listening, say Busta Rhymes, you went straight away for some very fast double time rap. Like that's even, some of his raps are even like 4 times the, you know?
So good.
So you went straight into that. Like, was that who you were looking up to when you were coming up? Like someone like that, rapping fast?
Most definitely. When I was really young, I'd be listening to like Busta Rhymes, like Ludacris, Exhibit, like a lot of that sort of like American hip hop. I didn't really listen to Aussie hip hop till I was like, I got to around like 15, 16. Like, so that's when I started like knowing like people in the scene, but before that I didn't. So I think that that's probably why when I first started rapping, doing shows and stuff, maybe I didn't really fit in. Like I didn't really sound the same as everybody else. And so like, yeah, that was a big like bit of a learning curve, but also like if you're going to stay true to yourself and you're going to do like what you know and like what sound you like that suits you, that's just what I do. So
yeah, man, and that's it. And you've stuck to your guns and you're successful at it. But were you met with a little bit of like animosity at the start, with people like, oh, this is a different accent. We've decided that the Aussie accent's here to stay.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, like how I view it is like with like it's funny because some people will come up and talk to me and be like, hey, you sort of sound American, but then you also like sort of don't. And I'm just like, well, I just feel like that I sound like myself. I think that it's the way that I pronounce things when I'm rapping makes me sound American. And like I'm still not like sold on the fact that I have an American accent. But also the funny thing is when someone tells you, it's like, man, what the fuck, dude? Like, why are you rapping an American accent? They don't have anything to say about like my flow or my bars or anything like that. The only thing that they're like sort of focused on is this one element of it. And I'm just like, if you remove that one element, like, are you enjoying the music? Like, do you like what's been said? Or is it just that you can't get over this sort of thing? It's like, there was a period of time where I feel like I couldn't listen to Australian hip hop because I was just like, I don't really like it. It sort of just doesn't connect with me. And like, that was just a thing where I don't know why, but it was. And then the more that like I sort of got older, I appreciated it so much more. And I listen to like heaps of Australian artists now because I'm just like, fuck yeah, like I understand it. Mm-hmm. Where like that's sort of where I think people's navigation is sort of a bit different. Like if you grew up on like a certain like I guess certain way of like hip hop of like how they get sounds. You're so used to that you're like, it's like branch out to something new is very fucking hard. And even when people get older as well, they have the same favorite artists. Like say for example, my dad, he's been listening to Bob Dylan for like fucking like 80 years or whatever, right? Yeah, literally, he's fucking 80. He's like, I think he's 80, like almost 70 or whatever. But he's like, favorite artist is Bob Dylan. That's who he'll listen to. But rarely will he go and branch out to go and find somebody new. You sort of stick to what you know.
Yeah.
Where like I'm sort of used to do that, but I'm like, how am I going to like progress if I just stick to what I know? I never just progress.
Yeah.
So I need to like learn about like all these new artists and shit. And so I do have like really old like artists that I fucking love, but then there's a lot of these new artists that you got to be like, oh fuck, they're doing some cool shit, and like you got to give them credit for that. And like that's sort of where I just am navigating right now.
Finding it, man. Your dad's missing out because Bob Dylan has got some tracks, but he's also influenced so many singer-songwriters that I'm sure if he did some research, he'd love a lot of them.
100%. He definitely does love like other acts. Like my dad's a muso as well. So I mean, he's very well versed. But I think like coming into like this sort of era where he's like, you know, an elderly figure. Yeah. He's sort of just like, nah, fuck it. I'll just listen to it. Like I showed him Mac DeMarco and he was like, well, this is pretty cool. And we woke up the next morning, I played the same song and he's like, who the fuck is this? And I was just like...
You got to remember, I guess, for the older generation, they've had so many years of listening to the same songs with the repetition, they just love it. You know
100%.
what I mean? To hear something new can generally be jarring to them.
Yeah, for sure. I think, well, my dad loves my like rap stuff. When I was doing like the psych rock stuff, like with the Rest for the Wicked, he didn't really like that as much, which I was surprised about. I thought he'd fuck with it more. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's just like, he's really into just because I guess I'm doing what I want to do, if that makes sense. And like he is so used to seeing me rap that I think that I don't know, just triggers something in him that he's just like, this is like cool. Like he's like, I don't know what you're saying, but like I know the hook and it sounds good, and I'm like, sick, cool.
Well, that's a lot of rap as well, because it's like you said, flow, and it's like it's tone and it's accentuating certain things.
Definitely.
And like the old-fashioned way of rapping the hip to the hop, right?
Yep.
Like that is sort of done with it now. It's the flows are definitely a huge part of it.
Oh yeah, dude, and that's what I like thrive on the most is like rhythmic, like patterns and just like flows and stuff like that. Like I think sometimes that might be the reason why with some other artists, like when they just are sort of got that standard flow, I can't really appreciate it because I know how far flow has developed, and like rhythmic wise, like I get bored, and like I probably have, like I would say I have undiagnosed ADHD with the way that I do things and shit, but like that's one part of like my, I guess, all of my like fucking artistic traits is that like I just need to keep progressing and being able to do different things, because if I'm not doing different shit, I'm going to get fucking bored. And I don't want to get bored. Like I like this shit.
Yeah, no, and props to you for staying true to making the music that you want to make, because it would be easy to get caught up in people saying, oh, this, like you sort of put on a persona when you get ready, you go, right?
Yeah.
Not a persona, like it's you, but you're leveling it up to 15.
It's like it's an elevated like sort of alter ego.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think of like Mogwai, he's sort of similar. He gets into his character, he kind of does his thing. Like a lot of people do that. But in hip hop, it just seems to be like you're not allowed to do that. You know what I mean? Like you've got to be just yourself jumping on the mic and yourself off the mic. And it's kind of not fair.
I relate it more. Yeah, 100%. I relate it to like, say for example, Kendrick Lamar. Like Kendrick Lamar is one of the most like, I guess, influential like artists today. But if you go through like all his songs, the amount of voices that he uses, like the amount of like sort of accents that he does or whatever, no one says shit. And I'm just like, why are you like picking up on like something that someone's doing like all the time?
Yeah.
Like it never like, same with like Australian like singers and stuff. Some of them have American accents, but like, why is it such a big like deal if you're doing it in Australia? Like, they're like, oh, you're not being authentic to like the Australians and shit. And I'm just like, I still respect it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not me.
100%, man. Grinspoon, Chemical Heart, right?
Yep.
Great song, and it's Can't Get Started, Chemical Heart. No one says, man, he's not saying can't.
Yeah. That's what I mean. 100, yeah, exactly. Like, Nail Kaufman's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. So when you started making music and you started to make some waves, you're putting it on SoundCloud and whatever, because that's kind of the right time for SoundCloud, wasn't it?
Yeah, SoundCloud was sick, man. I still fuck with SoundCloud heavy, but yeah, SoundCloud was mad. Like I would just pump stuff out of that. People would, like, I got a pretty decent following from SoundCloud, and then when it switched to Spotify was when I sort of started. When I got with like a manager and I started going through the ebbs and flows of like streaming stuff. So I think I sold 2 or 3 CDs through through Bandcamp and then like merch and whatnot. Bandcamp was sick. I did like Bandcamp because like, I mean, you could put it up for free, but if people wanted to support you, they would. A majority of the time, if someone was going to get it, they'd throw you like a couple of bucks. And I think that's pretty fresh. Like it's sort of like, you know, this isn't made in a studio. Like these are all mixtapes. Like here you go. They're not meant to like be polished. Like this is just what I'm about. And then like, if you're getting like, you know, some people would throw like $50 for like a CD or some shit. You're like, fuck it, this is so sick. Like, and it's supporting what you want to do.
And it's all in your hands.
Yeah, it's just like goes straight to you. Like there was no like fucking taxes. Well, there probably was, but I don't know where they went. Whoops. But yeah, like sort of that sort of shit. And then yeah, so I was just flowing through that.
Yeah. And then so when management starts to get involved, then you must be like, okay, well this is a real deal. Like
Yeah, definitely. So when I started, when I met my manager, I spilled coffee all over him the first time I met him. Like I literally, like I used to be really like mad anxious. I still am, but like it's dialed down a lot now. I sort of understand how to.
With the help of weed.
Yeah, a bit of help of weed, but also like a bit of help of just like understanding myself and knowing that like even if I am getting anxious, like it's all right. Like people get anxious all the fucking time.
What do you do?
Yeah. I can definitely. I've got little bits and pieces of how I relax, but more so to the point, it's like worrying about shit that is either inevitable or it's like a scenario is something where you've got to remember like that is like the very, very like worst extent of what could happen. And normally like half the time that shit won't happen. And so like dialing back on that and being able to be like, all right, well now I like live in like the moment and like, you know, it's all right to like knock over coffee over like your future manager and like maybe he won't be upset type shit. So yeah, but no, I met him. It was chill as, and then he was a weapon. Like we're still really great mates. And yeah, he was like, oh, do you want to like sign with me? And I remember my mum and my dad were like, oh, you got to be careful about managers. Like, you know, they're out to get you and like all that sort of shit. And I'm like, oh no, I think his name's Nick, but I was like, I'm pretty sure Nick's pretty like chill, like really well versed, like sort of knows what he's doing, seems like. And he saw me off like a viral Facebook video, and they're like, all right, well, and then we got like contract, whatever, went through lawyer, like, yeah, it seems all sweet, cool. And so I signed it and he was like, yeah, sick. I've got like a guy that's like running some shows. I might see if I can get you on. I was like, all right, fresh. That sounds good. And so he came back and he's like, yeah, sick. So I got you on. So you'll be like supporting Ice Cube at fucking blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, sick. That's, crap, fuck.
And all you'd had out is 2 CDs you released yourself at that stage.
Yeah, I think I had one EP out that I don't even think was on a CD, and then I had put out the Social Element as well. So I think that I had 2, EP and a mixtape, and I was going supporting Ice Cube, so it was pretty fucking nuts.
And how was that, man?
Fucking wild, dude. It was just like a crazy experience, like going back to anxiety and stuff. Like I hadn't really flown that much, so I was a bit like, fuck, like this is a bit crazy, like going on flights and shit. I remember I used to wear like earplugs and like eat fucking like ginger like tablets and shit to like get over it, and like always have to. I would always say like someone has to come with me, like whether it be like fucking Junior, my DJ, or like Nick, like I'd be like wherever I fly, like someone's gonna be there because I just used to pazz out about shit. And then I did the shows off insane. We got to the Brisbane one. I remember I had like a mad panic attack before I went out. I was full on just like sweating, like sort of like passing in and out of consciousness. And then like I heard the song come on, I was like, oh fuck this. And I remember that show when I went out and like did my thing, I sort of blacked out for the 30 minutes. I don't remember doing the set, but I came off and I was like, you know what? Like there was nothing wrong, and I was also sweet. And ever since then, I've sort of like been able to tackle my anxiety by putting myself in like exposure therapy, I guess.
Yeah, that is a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like just going out to like a big crowd, especially Ice Cube like fans. Like they're all just standing there like front, like fucking heavy cunts, and like you're just like staring at you, just going, and like you're just like, whoa. Am I being entertaining or some shit? Or do you fucking hate it? And then they'll come up to you like after the show, you'll be out talking to people, and like you think that this guy that was gonna fucking like punch your head in or some shit like comes up to you and he's like, it's dope set, man. And I was like, thanks, brother. And he's like, no worries, I'll listen to you when I get home. And I'm like, sick. Thanks, dude.
That's the best way to win over new fans, though, really, isn't it? It's like touring and getting out there and just getting, because those dudes may not have ever heard your music and maybe never would have heard your music
100%
because they were there to see Cube, but then they find you.
Yeah, and I made a bunch of, because at the time as well, when I was doing the Ice Cube shows, they interlinked because I got another tour with I was supporting Cypress Hill, so they interlinked, and I was doing like a Friday like doing Ice Cube and then a Saturday with Cypress Hill. Yeah. And so the change of like audience was fucking epic, because it'd be mean mugging motherfuckers that were like at Ice Cube, and then Cypress Hill were just like, fuck yeah, this dude smokes weed, like he's rapping about weed. And so it would like be so sick, because you just have like all these other people that are just being like, dude, that was fucking sick. But then you'd come back to like the Ice Cube crowd, they'd be like, pretty tight.
Pretty-
So yeah, it was
But I
cool.
could imagine the Ice Cube crowd. They're probably even dudes in their 50s and 60s that are there with their kids and stuff as well, because he's been around for fucking ages doing it, you know?
Yeah. There was literally like all ages. We ended up like at the last show we met his whole family because his whole family was there. His dad was on the side of stage, which was crazy, and I met his whole family and like yeah, it was nuts, man. Like even his son that plays him in like the Straight Outta Compton movie.
Yeah.
We just had a yarn and whatnot, but I was sort of out of it because of like that panic attack. So it all feels like a fever dream.
Yeah.
I was just like in there, I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, what's going on? And I think it was me and Citizen K because Citizen K was like main support I was opening, and we were both in there. And like he's like, what's going on? Thanks for like supporting us or whatever. We're like, thank you, Ice Cube. Like appreciate you, Ice Cube type thing. And then
Mr. Cube.
Yeah, Mr. Cube. And then like we're standing there, and like I was just like out of it. He's like, so we're gonna take a fucking picture or what? And I was like, hell yeah, dog.
Awesome. was that the tour when he played at 170 Russell?
Yes.
Yeah,
that was one.
I was at that one. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah,
man,
fuck yeah. It was sick. It was a mad time, but it was man, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was just around the time that the movie was about to come out because he played the trailer for the movie and stuff.
Oh, yeah. He did as well. Yep. And he went through like a sort of series of there was a lot of like police brutality going on back in America at the time. So he had a few big speeches about that. There was one that was like a pretty iconic one in Adelaide. I remember filming it on like my fucking like iPhone 3 or whatever the fuck it was. But yeah, it was
a while ago.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And what about the Cypress Hill dudes? Did you get to meet them?
Yeah, dude. It was.
From all reports, they're good dudes.
They are. It was real funny though. So there was this one at Sydney in the Enmore. Like I was sort of coming because I came off like the first Ice Cube show and I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, that was so fun." And we went backstage and like in the Enmore, like the backstage like area or like green room is like it's pretty sick. Like it's real nice. But Be Real and like Sendog, like they just had like a heap of like homies in there and everyone was just smoking. Like the whole place was just like full of fucking weed, which was pretty fresh. And
what
then
you'd expect.
Yeah, what you'd expect. And then we were just like hanging out and me and Junior was standing there and Sendog was just like chilling on like a wall. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go say what's up to Sendog. He's like, yeah, all right, sick. And I remember going up to him and being like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, how you doing? And he just sort of looked at me and was just like, I just like walked off and I was like, fuck, man, he fucking hates me. And then later on, like that was the first show that we did. And later on, we were in Melbourne and I was in an elevator and I like got like, I don't know, I was a bit lit. And I was with like, I ended up like hanging out with like a chick or something. And I got in the elevator in the morning and we both did. And all of them were in the elevator and we were just like sort of going down the lift or whatever. And B-Real was like looking at me and I was like looking at him. And like they obviously knew that I was supporting. The girl like walked out first and then like he just turned around. He's like, nice. I was like, thanks, brother. Awesome. And then we got to New Zealand because we did a Ragamuffin in New Zealand and they were also playing with Ice Cube. So like all worlds like came together, whatever. And Sendog like came up to me when I was like side of stage. He's like, hey man, like I didn't realize you were supporting us like the whole time. I was real rude to you and and I was like, oh, dude, it's all right, man. Like to be honest, I would have been rude to me too. And he's just like, nah, dude, like it's all sick. Like you actually like fucking killed it like the whole tour. And I was like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So they're all pretty like nice dudes and like yeah, sort of like chopped it up with Eric Bobo as well, which he was fucking insane. I love his production. So yeah, it was sick.
Awesome, man. There's not too many people that can say they will kind of jump in between cities and then from New Zealand to Australia with Ice Cube and Cypress Hill supporting them. That's pretty impressive.
It's very like cool, but I mean, it's just like yeah, it's wild what just motivation and life does. It's like if you're passionate about something like enough, man, it'll just take you places. So yeah, it's fucking sick.
So where do you go on your journey from there? That's obviously pretty like that. You've come into signing a deal to like in a big way, right?
Yeah.
So you've got, and then you're obviously building a bigger fan base and doing these interstate shows. So where do you go from there, man?
So we after that happened, I think I was sort of just like releasing music like for quite a while and just doing like pretty much just my own shows, and they were doing really well. And then we like toured with a bunch of other people. I'm really bad with timelines, but I would like toured with like Carnage. I toured with Peking Duck. Did Azealia Banks. There was a bunch of others as well. Designer. There was like just a heap of people, and then which was sick though. Like because at that time as well, I felt like that there was a lot of locals getting put on like international supports, and so like very lucky. Like to be honest, like now it's a lot harder, and I can sort of tell that it is. But like there's people still crushing it, and it's fucking sick to see. But
that Designer dude had some crazy energy, like you would have had as well, man.
Oh, dude, I met him at the airport, and when we were getting off, and he was traveling with his lawyer, and it's fuck
because he signed to Good Music, I think, early, like with Kanye.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
on the back of that one track.
Yeah, and like from Panda, and then he had this other song called, I listen to it all the time because I really like
Turner.
it. Yeah, Timmy Turner and Outlet. And he had like the Outlet's like, ooh, all the way he goes. And he like would play it at shows and it would go fucking off. And I was like, man, this is sick. But I met him at the Sydney airport and his lawyer came up to me and he's like, oh, he wants to meet you and like say what's up. I was like, yeah, cool. And he literally like greeted me with like ad libs. Like I'm not bullshitting. Like he was literally like and like shit like that. And I was just like, and I didn't know what to do because I was just like, because I'm like, this is sort of like part of his thing, but also I'm just like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, dude, thanks so much for having us. And he's like, yeah, like go get it, and like shit like that. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, this is fucking crazy, dude. And then,
So he's like that all the time.
well, I think he was, and then like now I looked him up since because I didn't hear from him for a while, and I was like, oh, I wonder like what he's doing. And now his like music is very like trap heavy, but like not as many like he was ad lib heavy, and like now he's not so much. Like he's just doing like really like just bars.
I think that he feels a bit scorned from the whole thing, does he? I think because he
Maybe.
blew up so quickly, and I feel like then he started doing his independent thing. Like I feel like they kind of dropped him when he didn't have another banger.
Yeah, I feel like it probably would be something like that, but it seemed very different. Like he was definitely like steering away from what I feel like whatever. Like I mean, when people approach you and they say this is working, do this or whatever, like, and you're sort of holding that, like it's pretty crazy. So
It is. It's hard, and you look at even when you're not talking about hip hop, you talk about other artists that blow up off the back of their first sort of album, and then they kind of have to match it again. It's always big shoes to fill, even though they're your own shoes.
yeah, exactly right. It's sort of like you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into just something where just everybody wants that all the time. And I think that that's probably like the hardest thing as an artist is like you don't want to. Yeah, you really just don't want to pigeonhole yourself. You want to be able to express yourself at all times.
Exactly. If you're Andre 3000, you make a flute record because that's what you want to do. Like,
Dude, I'm fucking so down for that.
so then, when you start to do the tours, you're building your fan base. You're doing that, so you're good on Instagram, but when you're doing those gigs, you're seeing your fucking following trending in a pretty fucking straight up line.
Definitely, yeah. When it just keeps, it was just like progressing, but. It's very interesting because there's like certain little bits and pieces where you think something's going to go really well and it sort of either doesn't get received as well as you want it to, or it sort of just like makes you stagnant. So like say for example, when I did tour of Wu-Tang in 2000 and I think it was 16 or 17, and when I was doing that, Ghostface, we got to take, well, basically, so my manager called me up and he was like, oh yeah, because they were touring them. So they were like, oh, Ghostface wants someone to take him out to go buy Ugg boots. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, all right. And I called up Junior and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, not much. And I'm like, Ghostface wants someone to go and get Ugg boots. I don't have a car right now. Do you want to like pick me up and we'll go take him? He's like, yeah, fucking oath. I was like, done. So we went out with Ghostface and started.
Where do you take Ghostface to buy Ugg
Emporium.
boots? Okay.
In Melbourne. So we literally went to the Emporium in Melbourne, took him fucking Ugg boot shopping, and he's holding up like pink Ugg boots. He's like, you like these? And we're like, yeah, they're fucking fresh. He's like, all right. And then like he'd hold up other ones and we're just chatting to him and shit. And Ghost was fucking like a legend, dude. Like he was so cool.
Mobbing him?
No, not really. Like it was actually pretty cool. He was trying to when we went to Macca's, he was like trying to pick up a chick for me in there, and he was like, he bought me a fillet of fish, and he was just like, yo, have you seen my boy? Like we got a show like coming up, blah 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 blah. Like it's playing. Where did we play? I think it was at Margaret Court Arena. He's like, where are we playing? I'm like, Margaret Court Arena. He's like, we're playing Margaret Court Arena, and this like chick was just like off it. She was just like, I don't know like who the fuck you guys are, whatever. And I was just like, dude, this is crazy, man. And then anyway, we got in the car, and after we went Ugg boot shopping, and there was like literally at bags of Ugg boots and shit. And he's like, oh, I want to make some music here. Do you know anyone that's like wants to make music? And I like sort of called up Nick, and I was like, oh, Ghostface wants to make music. And Nick was like, well, how much does he want? I'm like, I don't know. I could ask him. And so we were just chatting about it, and then he told us a figure, and I was like, oh. And I told Nick, and Nick's like, look, you can loan it off me. And I was like, all right, like in what sort of circumstance do you get the chance to go and like do something like this with someone that you've listened to pretty much your entire life? Like it doesn't happen every day. I was like, all right, done, fuck it. So we did it, and then we went to, I think we recorded with Cam Bluff and Dom Cork back when they were in, was it Essendon maybe? No, not Essendon.
Richmond?
No, it wasn't Richmond. I can't remember where it was. But anyway, and so we went like to do it. We went in, Ghost wrote his verse. He listened to the song that I already had, which was Bill's. And I just had like a feature spot there. And he was like, damn, this is pretty sick, but like you're rapping real fast. Like I don't normally do like this BPM. And I was like, yeah, I reckon you can fucking still kill it. And he's like, all right. And so he did like a little bit and like piece here. And he was like, he rapped it to me and he's like, what do you reckon? And I was like, I reckon you could probably switch up like this thing. And I wasn't going to say anything because you don't, but I was just like, oh, that's pretty fresh, man. But I reckon like that, like if you remove like a syllable here, it will like sound better.
You're giving Ghostface rapping critiques.
Because I could just hear it in my brain. And he was like, yeah. And then he just went in the booth, did it. And then I was like, that sounded fresh. And he's like, you want me to do it one more time? I was like, no, I think we got it, man. Yeah. And then, and it was a bit nerve wracking because I was just like, yeah, this is pretty hectic. And then, we came out of it and it was pretty fucking insane, dude. So we got to, I can't remember what the actual question was, but we ended up doing that. And then,
but were you hanging out, like, that's amazing. You got to record a song with him. You get to put it out. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. But the other dudes, are you hanging out with them? You're not going Ugg boot shopping, but.
No. So this is what happened. So basically what happened was we did that. And then that night, because like we'd been hanging out with him all day, he's like, do you want to come to the session? We're doing a session at Ginger Studios tonight. The whole clan's going to be there. And I was like, yeah, 100%. So we went to the studio, and it was just like we were chilling outside for a bit. And he's like, "Oh, just wait here." And then we were waiting, like me and Junior just chilling out. And he's like, "Oh, you can come in." And like we all sat down, and like no one really said anything. I think I dapped up like Raekwon, and then like there was just pretty much everyone in there. RZA was just like playing a track, and Ray was just literally spitting into like a mic, and that's how he was recording at the time. Was just like literally like holding a mic to his face. Everyone was just in there, and he was just like doing flows and shit, which was sick. And then goes in the other room, just hanging out next to a piano, like writing his verse, and we were just like watching and whatever. And it was a pretty sick like atmosphere because everyone was sort of like, they're obviously like older, but they were just killing it. Yeah. Like, and it was just so like being in that environment and just watching all that and being like, man, like this is crazy. Like you're just hanging out with Wu-Tang right now and just doing this sort of shit. And then
at that time they'd been doing it for 30 years sort of thing.
Yeah. And it was like absolutely fucking mind blown. And then we're doing that. Jizza went out and was like, do you want to smoke some of this? And it was the craziest fucking joint I've ever seen in my whole entire life. It was like this gigantic fatty that he'd like, I was watching him like roll this for like 30 minutes. It was like gigantic fatty, and then he'd put like wax around it, and then he'd like use the keef and like rolled the thing in the keef, and it was just looked fucked. And I was like, fuck, I haven't like smoked heavy in a while, so this is gonna be pretty hectic. And we went outside and we were talking about rhyme schemes and about like how he wrote about there was a verse about a car, and like how he like sort of basically started at this point and got to the end point that redirected it back to the start point using like every single like metaphor and like sort of like anything that you can think of about cars, and like the whole thing is about a car, but he's actually talking about something else. And like I was just like, fuck, man, like he is such an intelligent man. And I was like, this is like sort of crazy. And then
it's a pinch me yourself moment,
pretty much, yeah. And then like we left that being like, this is pretty fucking insane. And we went to Sydney, played the next show. I went to Brisbane, got dinner with them. Raekwon was actually a fucking G. Ray was the best, man. Like he was actually like such a fucking unit. And then
was the Sydney one the Opera House one?
No, the Sydney one was Hordern Pavilion.
Okay.
Yeah. So which was fucking mad. And then the last one was Riverside in Brisbane. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but yeah, the whole tour was pretty sick and very eye opening. And at the last show, all the clan were like watching my set, and then they came up to me afterwards and they're like, "There's not many people that can get people moving during a Wu-Tang set, and you are one of those people." So, and Ray, like, especially was just like, you've got something that's like really special and you shouldn't stop doing that. And I was like, thank you. Like, I really appreciate that. And he's just like, yeah, dude, like, I know that there's heaps of people out there that like talk shit about people and whatnot, but like, we've been doing this for a really long time. We were pretty impressed. And I was like, that's a massive compliment.
Fucking oath, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you hear that from someone you've looked up to who's one of the best at it, you've got to think, okay, I'm onto something here. That gives you a little boost of confidence to keep going and keep making more music.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even after that, like, as well, like, because everyone's like human and like you just like hang out with just whoever, and it's just so cool to see like these people like be so involved. Like they didn't have to watch my set, and they didn't have to like they didn't have to go out dinner, they didn't have to be like, I'm gonna do like Ghost didn't have to be like, oh, we're gonna do a verse. Like he didn't, like no one had to do any of this shit, but like they did because they want to. And it's like, that's what was so cool about it, like just hanging out with these dudes that you've admired for so long, for them to be all cool. And I've been very lucky. There's only been like a couple of artists that I've met that I listen to that like have just been not as cool as I thought that they would be. Yep. But like majority of the people that I've met have been very down to earth, and maybe that's why I connect with them so hard, because like I think that they are that and they end up being that. So,
but you've got a good infectious personality, right?
I hope so.
So when you come up to them, you're like, hey man, I'm Ivan Ooze, I'm doing this. They're like, oh man, this guy's cool. You know, a lot of people would come up to him with the wrong fucking mentality, and that maybe. Yeah. But also those people that haven't been great, maybe you got them on a bad day. Who knows? knows?
100%, yeah, exactly right. Like everyone does have a bad day, but yeah, there was a couple of instances where people were just a bit like whoa, I wasn't expecting that, but also, I don't know, exactly right. Like it could have just been a bad day. They might be going through some shit. Like everybody's got problems. So.
Man, and you look at tour dates and scheduling and stuff like that. Like maybe they've just come on the back of a red-eye flight and they're doing this, and you know, and you're just like, I can't be fucked talking to some random dude today. You
Literally,
know what I mean?
yeah, for sure, dude.
You know? Like you never know.
Yeah, it's true.
So then when you start to, after that, and that's got to give you, like I said, a big boost of confidence. You're like, fuck, this is happening now.
Yep.
So then where do you go from there? Because it's hard to top. These things keep you.
Yeah, they get pretty hard. Well, that was like a very like big point to what was happening. And then also like this was sort of where like my mental health started getting real fucked. So I was like musicians' depression is like real fucked, and I spoke out about it the other day, like in a post. But it's like when you go from something that's so high, and like you're doing all these things, like hey, I'm hanging out with these dudes, and like I'm going to clubs, and you know you're getting like fucking shit given to you, and
You're
like
living
you're going, you're just living life, and then all of a sudden like you go back and you're like, oh. All right, well, what do I do now? And then you get no calls and you don't get a gig and you don't have like any supports come up or you don't have a festival or anything like that. And especially with me, like with my mental health and stuff, like I used to get so fucking down about it and I'd be like, why am I fucking doing this? Like blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And like you sort of like have that basis of being like, I'm getting like, my brain was just getting polluted. And off the back of that as well, like doing Wu-Tang, there was a couple of people that like sort of like did some posts about some shit. And like there was people going hard at me for being like, you fucking suck. Like, saw you at Wu-Tang, blah, blah, blah. There was
because of the accent or just because you're...
Everything, man. There was like some shit that got posted like online about me from when I was like younger and stuff. And like I sort of just like copped a back end of like that sort of thing. And I don't know, it was just sort of like some...
It's hard not to take it on board, I guess.
Yeah, like, because then you start getting people, like, hitting you up. Like, I was getting death threats. I was getting fucking, like...
Because you supported Wu-Tang
yeah,
and
100%.
they feel that you didn't deserve to or something.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's exactly right. Like, they're like, oh, man, like, your manager did this, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I'm like...
That's what a manager does.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, even the same with, like, features and shit. Like, I always get so weirded out when someone's like, yeah, I bet he paid for the feature. It's like, fucking oath I paid for the feature. Like, what you think someone's just going to roll in and be like, hey, this guy's just going to benefit me off his own back with doing whatever the fuck he's doing? It's like, no. Like, I've done features where people have paid me. Like, yeah, they pay me, and that's like how you make money from fucking music. Like,
yeah.
like I don't get that.
But your feature wasn't like he just sent you an MP3. You recorded a clip together. You did it together in the studio.
And he did a clip, and he did the clip as a favor. He didn't even charge me for it.
Right.
And so I was like, because he liked it. He was like, yeah, this is sick. And I was like, cool.
So
sick.
that's totally different to some dude recording in their bedroom, paying $5,000 for someone who they're never going to meet to send them a random verse that they've got on their computer.
Yeah, exactly. And
there's different tiers to this feature business.
Exactly right. And I was just like, it was just sort of baffling, man. And I think that like when I got to like a point, I wasn't talking to people about it, and I was like sort of like I felt like people didn't understand me, and like there was relationship stuff and friendship stuff, and like then you've got like people asking you like when something's coming out, and you're going through like you're trying to get people to want to feature or whatever, and people aren't getting back to you, and like all this sort of shit. Like it just builds up, and like you just get to this point where you just like I fucking like broke down. Well, on the last show that I did when I said that I was going to go on a hiatus, and I didn't want to like do rap anymore. Like I fucking hated it. I hadn't recorded anything for like
What
2
year
years.
was this?
This was like 2000. This was just before COVID, so I would have been like 2009, 18, 19.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember being at Howler, and right at the last song, like packed crowd, like my family was there and shit, and I like fucking broke down in front of like everybody and was just like, you don't understand how like fucked like my mental health is. Mm-hmm. You don't get like how like fucking nasty people can be and like all this sort of shit. And it's like after I did that, like I felt like that just like for some reason like I understood everything. Like I got it because I vented, and as soon as I vented to everybody, when I came off the stage, I was like, fuck, I feel like really good that I just said that to like 400 plus people.
Well, that's why
like,
therapy works.
Exactly.
When you say it and verbalize it, it gets it off your chest.
Exactly right. And because I hadn't been doing that with certain people because I wasn't too sure like who I could trust with the information that I was telling them or whatever. And then also like you're juggling like rent and then like being like, oh, all right, well now I got to go to therapy, but do I have enough money for therapy? Like what the fuck's going on? And I had like that sort of breaking point. It sort of like calmed me down, and like everything sort of just went away in a sense, because like I was like, all right, well, people aren't expecting things from me. People aren't doing sort of like, you know, like hitting me up and like being like, you're a piece of shit, you sound like a fucking loser, and like all this sort of stuff. And like I just started to understand that like half these people that are online that post and shit are just like NPCs. Like they're just people that are just like, you know, they post off like there's been no post on their account. It's just like a blank account. There might be some dude that has like 78 followers and then like follows like 3,000 people, and I'm like, there's a reason why you have 78 followers. It's because you're an asshole. And like there's all these like sort of things that are just align where I was just like, I started feeling for those people instead, and so that sort of became very clear to me.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, man. There's a good quote, and it's like, don't accept criticism of somebody you wouldn't take advice from.
100%.
So if someone has 78 followers and you've got 78,000 followers, you're doing something right and they're angry.
Yeah, 100%. And it's not even, I don't even like necessarily like think it's follower based. It's more just the point of being like if I have something to like that I think, for example, like, and it's something that obviously is going to be like pretty hurtful to someone, like someone's going to read it, like, you know, big artists, like they still read shit, like it just happens. But I would never say it to someone, and I never have. Like I've never just been like, hey man, like you should think about putting out something good next time, or like some shit like that. Even though that it's like the most minuscule shit, I'm just like you're so entitled to have your opinion, but also like think about like would you like it if someone's like going out and like say like you've been plumbing like for fucking like 12 hours that day, and it's like then some dude comes up and goes, you know how to build a fucking trench, you fucking loser, or some shit like that. Some people will take it as like, yeah, whatever, but if that continuously like keeps drilling into you day by day by day, it like can destroy you. And some of these dudes as well that are fucking tradies, like the same thing. It's not just musicians, it's like all over the place. It's like there's just like subtle bullying, but it's also like progressively gets worse over time, and people don't understand that. They just think that it's like, oh, harden the fuck up, you're a pussy. And it's like, I'm not a pussy. It's just like, if you get told things a million times in a row or whatever, and someone's just drilling that into you, you start feeling like maybe that is me.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't want to feel like that. Like, that's not a thing that I'd like want to hear. And I'm happy that like I understand so much now that like I don't take things personally, and I understand that people are going through shit. I've had people like hit me up before, like they've been like, man, like you fucking suck at blah 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 yada yada yada, and I've literally personally DM'd them and just been like, hey bro, like it looks like that you're struggling or having a bad time or whatever, like I hope that you're alright, blah 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 blah. And it'll be left on scene, and like maybe a day or two later, like they'll go, yeah man, like I've actually been pretty fucked. And I'm just like, and now all I think about is when someone posts that shit, I'm like, damn, man, like they're hurting. Like they actually like are really...
People hurt people.
Yeah, dude. And I'm just like, that's just what the reality is. And so I just still find it funny. Like if you don't have something positive to say, man, like about something, like sure, you can have your opinion, but like think about how you word it and like what you're going to say to somebody. Like if you don't like something, I mean, like I just fucking keep it to myself.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. Like I get it with this podcast. People will message me, hey, that guest you had on sucks, and why would you do that? And I'm just like, dude, like the internet's a vast place.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, no one's forcing you to like it.
Log off, brother.
Just go somewhere else. Like, it's so funny. People have this... I think there's another quote. It's like the internet gives people who probably shouldn't have a soapbox to stand on one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but, like, when you go into DMing somebody to tell them that you personally don't like them, you should have a look at yourself, because that's fucking rough stuff to be doing.
Oh, dude, don't, like, it's like wild. And the amount of shit that I get, like, even when I started doing like this cooking shit and whatever, like, it's really interesting to see like what like comes through, and like people just sort of turn on you. Like there'll be people being like, oh, I fucking love your stuff, and like, you know, you might not have seen the message. Like there's fucking thousands of messages that go through there or whatever, and then like you sort of go through your hidden ones, and it'd be like, love your stuff, man, you're so fucking sick, man, oh man, I wish I could be like you. And then the fourth message is like, you're a fucking loser. And it's just like, what happened?
Because you didn't reply?
It's either because you didn't reply, or maybe like they got on the piss or whatever, and they didn't like something that they saw, and they just like switched up. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's
and
so
then
funny.
often with that stuff, and I get it a little bit with this, where people will be like, I love your shit, I love the podcast, oh no, that guy sucks, or this guest, they're a toy, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then generally they remove it.
Yeah.
And generally those posts are happening, you know, past 8 o'clock when people have had a little bit
piss.
of... Yeah. So, yeah, I think with the internet, we just got to learn to not stress too much about it.
Yeah.
But as you grow any sort of platform, or as a personal brand or as a brand or whatever,
Yep.
you're gonna get haters. It just comes with the territory.
Well, my like honest advice, like to literally anybody, is like I view myself as the main character to my life, and everybody else that's around me. Like obviously, like I got mates and shit. Like I'm not fucking like I'm not like arrogant or ignorant or anything. I'm in saying this, but what I'm saying is that like everything that's around me does matter. But when negativity like is sort of like injected in there, I literally just like go. Like it just deflects. And I think that the thing is like once I've learned, like I've been through so much shit, and like I know like in my life especially, like the amount of shit through like relationships, friendships, doing music, doing cooking, doing fucking like other like sort of shit, like there's so much that happens, and it's like sometimes you just gotta learn to care about yourself. And like I used to care about people so much more and used to be so empathetic towards people that I'd just be like, I'd be caring about them that it would fuck me up. And I'm just like, who's the main person that has to deal with all this shit? Me. So I have to like cut these people off. You like this is being negative. This is fucking negatively impacting my life. Get the fuck out of here. And people will view you and be like, man, why aren't we mates anymore? Like what? You don't want to hang out with me and shit? And I'm just like, no, it's just not that. It's like, it's what you're doing and the amount of conversations that we've had about it, and you don't want to do anything about yourself is impacting me. Yeah. And I can't deal with that.
And negativity breeds negativity.
Yeah, dude. And I'm just like, I'm a very positive person now, and like, I just can't be fucked with it, dude. Like, it's just, when people come around and just give you that, like, the more I've been positive, the more like shit's been happening for me, and the more that they've been negative, like, and other people have been negative, like nothing happens. No, and it's like you attract what you attract, and like I want to attract positivity. Yeah. So yeah,
man, for sure. And a lot of people, the sad thing is that they don't like get that for majority of their life.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah,
I think that's the hardest thing for them to understand. Like, it's really hard when you've been telling someone for like a period of time that like you know, like maybe like they should do this or do that and whatever. And obviously like there's mental health issues like everywhere that go for like a vast majority of like everybody's got like their own shit. But like if you can see someone that's your friend that cares about you, that is doing like a little bit, like maybe you feel like they're doing a little bit better or whatever, maybe just have a listen. Like maybe just actually take in what they're saying because they care about you. It's not just that they don't, like they're saying it for your own personal benefit. They're not being like, we're trying to nag you about it, or we're trying to like be like, oh, this is exactly what you should do. It's like, maybe just try it. And like, if it does, maybe it's fucking sick. Maybe it's not.
That's the thing. I think a lot of people that probably have a lot of issues generally keep doing the same things and wonder why they don't get a different result. And that's, you've got to change it up in some respect.
Yeah.
Whether it's mentally, you've got to change your mindset, or whether you've got to change your health, or we got to stop drinking or stop taking drugs or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You've got to make a change. You can't keep doing the same thing, or whether it's gambling or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're going to hang around with the people that are still doing that, you're never going to change.
100%. And I completely agree. It's just like, that's where you've got to have the intelligence to be like, all right, like, I've got to do this for me. Like, and it's not for anyone else. Like, it's not that you're going to change for me. Like, I don't want that. I want you to understand that, like, this is for you. And, like, you don't have to even hang out with me afterwards. If you, like, get better or whatever and you're like, hey, I'm happy that you're better. Because then that means that, like, you know, you've understood it. You're like, hey, maybe going out and, like, going to Ben's show tonight or whatever, I'm going to have 1,000 beers and I'm not going to feel good in the morning, and then I'm going to end up on, like, a bag of ketamine or some shit like that. I don't want that for you. But if you think that that's what's going to happen and like you come to a thing, just don't do it. Like, I'm happy. I would be way happier if you're just happy.
Yeah, that's it, man. So then on your journey about 2019, you sort of said, I'm going on a hiatus. I think you even said you quit rap, didn't you?
Yeah. So I sort of just said that I didn't want to do it anymore because, it was just getting to me. And then when I stopped, I met Tasker and I started doing like Rest for the Wicked, which was, like sort of like a psych rock pop, like little bits and pieces. And that's just when COVID hit as well. So we were doing like, we did a bunch of sessions, did heaps of music there. And then, one day Tasker was like, oh, I know a guy that like might be able to help us out with like record label stuff. I was like, yeah, fresh. And like during the time from like 2020 to 2021, when like no one was doing shows, everyone was locked down, we got a deal with EMI and signed it. And then when we came out of COVID, that's when like we started like putting out music. So it was pretty refreshing to be able to go from not rapping. I was still writing then, because after I'd vented, I was like, I feel like I can write again because I'd been holding it back. Yeah, 100%. And then I went from that to hanging out with Task. Went through like a whole bunch of like, you know, did music videos, did whatever, made some really cool music. There's heaps of it that still hasn't been released, but yeah.
Will it be, or the label's sitting on it?
No, label isn't sitting on it. We just like, there was sort of like a little bit of like shit happened like internally, and then we were just like, oh, do you want to do this, or do you like, is your passion somewhere else? Does it lie somewhere else? He's like, oh, I feel like it lies like a bit here. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Thanks for like letting me know type thing. Like, we'll call it a day type thing. So, so we ended up calling it a day. And then I was like, well, if we're not doing that, then, I mean, I've been writing all these songs. I've got all these hip hop songs. I haven't put out anything for ages. Let me start doing that. And I linked up with a couple of other producers and started putting out new music, which I felt was way more polished than what I used to do. And it was in like the right direction of what I wanted to do now. And yeah, and so I started progressing to like doing like Ghosts and Smoke and Man Down and like all that sort of shit. So yeah.
How would you say that it was more mature, or how would you say it was more in line with what you wanted to do?
It would be sort of more mature, like sort of like teaching, because I learned a lot from writing psych rock pop songs, because I was like, when I was like, especially Oliver Tree is like a great example. Like I listen to Oliver Tree like quite a lot, and he's very vague in what he says, but you can interpret it the way that you want to. And I was like, I want to write songs where they are vague and like, they could mean a million reasons, but the reason that you take on is for you. If that makes sense. Yeah. And so I was like, well, let me try and implement that into my rap shit, because before I was very like, one topic like specific. So I was like, I want to sort of broaden it out a little bit,
Deeper.
And
make it deeper.
Yeah, make it a little bit deeper, but also make it like easy listening, so like anyone can sort of like understand. And like, instead of going like like actually like sort of think about what flows you're going to use, think about how catchy they are, like all that sort of shit, because that's what I learned from doing this other project. And especially working with Task, like he's a fucking madman. Like if anyone's like, I'm sure that there's a bunch of people that have worked with Tasker, but Tasker's a fucking genius, and he's insane. He's such a good producer. He's just a fucking nutcase, man. And so, anyway, got into that, and I started doing those sort of songs, and then I put it through like a distribution agency called Sound On, and they used to have an office here, and they heard Ghosts, and they were like, oh, we want to just put a bit of money behind it, like, because I was just independent at this point, and I'm like, yeah, that'd be awesome. And they put a little bit of money behind it, and then
in what capacity, like pushing a music
video?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they put it through. So Sound On here is, well, they're not here anymore. There's not an office here, but they're responsible for distribution. Like they're pretty much owned by TikTok.
Wow.
And so I started putting my stuff through there. They hadn't really had that many artists, so I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to give it a shot. Like I haven't really distroed my own shit before anyway, so just see how it works. And then they put it through, and they're like, oh, we want to put like an amount of money like on it. And I was like, yeah, cool. So they sort of sponsored it on TikTok, and I think it was the Chiefs in like America, like the NFL like team. Yeah. Who's the one that's going out with Taylor Swift? Kelsey, yeah. So they had like, he used it like with the Chiefs or whatever, and then it went like nuts. So like, yeah. So like, it was like him getting off a plane, and then all the players like were getting off a plane, and like they were getting ready for a game. And then as soon as that happened, it was like just the start of it, and it was like, and then it just got fucking like taken off. So there was like shit going nuts, and then
you can make money back off TikTok from that.
Oh yeah. So like, if you're getting plays from videos on TikTok, especially like, I'm not 100% sure how it works. Like I've been trying to learn about it a lot more, but like you can definitely, like from plays on TikTok, you can definitely earn money. So that went nuts, and so that was pretty sick. And then we ended up, I did Ghost, I did Smoke, I did Man Down, and that was like for 1 year. And I was like, I'm just gonna chill now and just wait. And then while I was chilling, I was with my ex-partner at the time, and I was like, oh, I want to start doing something different, because like I don't want to make this feel like a job again. Like I don't want to be like, oh, I want to get to this point where I'm like,
because you've refound your passion for it.
Yeah, exactly right. So I started doing cooking, and she like wasn't in a very good headspace at the time, and I was like, maybe if we just do this together, like, we just fuck around and just cook some shit, whatever. So I started doing it first, and then she saw what I was doing, and she was like, oh yeah, I'll cook with you.
On your Ivan Ooze account?
No. I made a whole new account, because I was sort of like, I saw a bunch of people pop up with cooking, and I'm like, you know what? Like, there's people that are vibey and shit. Like, I feel like that this room's pretty vibey, and I'm like, I feel like I've got like a good taste in music. I like smoking weed. Like, I could just combine all these things together and just.
Did you have a passion for cooking?
Yeah, 100%. Like I've cooked it since I was younger. So
okay, yeah. So it wasn't like you just go, oh, cooking's trending, because during COVID that was people cooking and showing,
Definitely, yeah. And I sort of just like, I saw that like outlet, and I was like, I reckon I can, like, from editing videos for like a really long time and like doing shit on my phone, I'm like, I reckon I can do pretty good edits of this shit. So from all the shit that I'd learned from like music or all the way, I was like, I'm gonna just put this out. I know how to like maintain like to grow like a an Instagram account, TikTok account or whatever, I know what I need to do. I need to post every day. I need to use the platform. I need to comment to this many people. I need to share this many people's things. I need to do this. I need to do that. I know all this stuff. I'm just going to implement it and see what happens. So I just made a new account. I'm like, I was thinking about changing my Ivan Ooze name at the time. And I'm like, because I'm really fuck with Young Lean. I love Young Lean. And I was like, I just want to make it young and then something else. I was like, Young Cook God sort of sounds pretty fresh. So I did that, put that straight down, and then I was like, all right, let's do this little edit. First edit was just like a sort of practice one, and then the second one, when I had like the thing pop up on the screen, I was like, I haven't seen anybody do that, and I think that's sort of sick because it tells them what the song is as well. They also going to see you smoke. Sets the tone of it, yeah. And then once I was doing that, I think it was like 2 months. We starting to get like, 10,000, 20,000. I was like, oh, this is doing pretty well. And then we got to the 1st of January, and me and my ex-partner, we'd like spent some time away from each other, and we came back, and like our chemistry was really nice. And we just made I think it was like a garlic and chili prawn pasta dish, like nothing crazy, but it was just like me and her were just like vibing out, like just doing whatever.
The chemistry kind of helps that stuff.
100%, yeah. And people loved to see like couple stuff, and and then that fucking kicked it, and like we got like 200,000 followers in like 3 days.
Really?
Yeah.
That quickly?
Yep. And then after that, then we started posting together more, and because we were doing it every day, and because of the consistency, it's like while the fucking strike while iron's hot type shit, we're like, let's fucking do this, like, and
you
go nuts. You
gotta cook every day anyway.
Yeah, literally. It's like, well, we're doing it, so we might as well just eat yum shit. Like, what do you want to cook? And like, we wake up in the morning, what do you want to cook? Oh, let's cook this. Done. So we did that, and it just kept popping off, and it went up, and now it is what it is now. And I was so fucking like, whoa, like this is sick. But also at the same time, I'm like, it does make sense because I was sort of like had a plan. And I was like, and I've never, like, I have had plans before, but I'm like, I have a plan that this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. I didn't know how well it was going to go, but I'm like,
couldn't envision that many that quickly.
No way. And then and so when it happened, I was like, fuck yeah, this is sick. And then this is where it got like tricky because then brands start hitting you up, and brands are like, hey, how much do you charge for this and this and this and this and this? And I'm just like, fuck, dude, like I don't even know. So I hit up one of the only cooks that I was following at the time, which was Andy Cooks. And shout out Andy because he's a fucking weapon. He's an absolute G. And he was just, I'm like, dude, I'm so like in the deep end with this. Like, and I wasn't expecting him to reply. Like, he's got millions of followers. And I was like, but like, I know I've seen you like my videos and shit. Like, would you be able to help me out? And he helped me out. And I was like, fuck, dude, like, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate it. And it started off from there. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to focus on this a little bit. And so I focused on growing that and making it bigger and meeting creators and meeting cooking folk and whatnot. And like the cooking community so like accepting. Like, it's not sort of like when you go to like a music event or something, like people sort of sometimes they have their heads up their asses and shit. It's just like, it was just so like refreshing to be talking to everybody. Yep. And like, everyone's just like, we're all there for food. Like everybody that I met, it was fucking cool as. And I was like, hell yeah, this is sick. Now I'm in this, and I've got this as well. So now I can bounce between the two, do what I'm doing.
And I'm guessing some people from the Young Cook God page may not even know that you make music.
Yeah, no, they don't. And that's what even better, because a majority of my fan base that is on Young Cook God, they're American. So, and for a while, because I didn't talk in any of my videos because I didn't want anybody to know where I was from. And so like, obviously like the background, like when I'm up on the roof and shit, like in later videos, people could tell like where it sort of is. But a lot of people thought I was from like Switzerland. Some people thought I was from the UK. Some people thought I was from Melbourne in Florida. Like some people, there's a bunch of different shit. And so, and it was sort of good though, because
that intriguing element helps.
Yeah, an intriguing element helps all the time, because when they don't know like where you're from and they think that they do, they'll support you heavier. And like, they're just like, oh yeah, like he's one of us, like type thing. It's like, oh no, yeah, like that's like a Florida dude or whatever. I was like, oh no, he's from the UK, like fuck yeah, blah, blah. And as soon as I open my mouth, they're like, oh, he's fucking Aussie. And I was like, nah, it's all chill, man. I gotta be myself. And so, and so that all happened, and I was just like, it was just fucking crazy, dude.
Crazy, man. That same sort of people think we're from their hometown helps. And like, I remember hearing a interview with Linkin Park, and they said they chose that name because every city in the US has a Linkin Park.
Oh,
so
true.
Everyone thinks, oh, they're from. We've got a Linkin Park here because of like the
no
Linkin
shit.
Park. Yeah, that was where they came up with the name.
That's so smart.
Yeah, it's genius.
Hell yeah, dude. No, that's fucking a crazy fact.
So then the Young Cook God kicks off. It's going well. So I guess then you're like, all right, well, if this can build, I know what I'm doing, then I can focus on the music in other ways. I don't have to worry about making that the money spinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So that's why I was sort of like, I've been like so I ended up quitting. So I was working casual part time, and quit my job there because I was making enough. And then it was so funny, man, because I was saying to like friends at the time and stuff, it's like I've been working at doing this for like 10 years, and then you go and do something else, and like you put all the elements that you know into this, and then all of a sudden this pops off, and you're like, how, like, could you expect that? And then now this thing is sort of like I can put what I'm earning into what I want to actually do, but also like it's still fun to do this. I'm just very lucky, and it's just like that's all it is. It's just like I'm proactive. Like I want to do what I want to do, and to achieve it, I'm going to try all the things that I like before resorting to going to do a 9-to-5 job. I fucking hate it.
Man, as I said to you when we were grabbing coffee, I'm like, pretty much most creatives just want to make enough money. They don't want to be rich. They want to make enough money so they can just make their art. You know?
100%. If I lived in a shoebox and I was paying like $200 a week, like I'd make it work. Like it's just like being at work, every time that I used to be sitting there, I'd be thinking about what I could be doing, and I was just be like, there's a bunch of things. I think I wrote like a lot of songs while I was just at work, and so did like a lot of other musicians as well. Like, because we're not fucking focused on like doing work. Like, and I know like we're not, because a bunch of like other homies that were working there at the time, they're all rapping too. And so like we'd just be hanging out, like being like, oh, what are you listening to? Whatever. Like, oh, here's my demo or whatever. Oh, I could probably mix that for you, man, if you wanted to, and like shit like that. So it's very interesting, but it's also like when you're with a bunch of creatives as well, that's probably the best time to be at work. So
yeah. With the cooking stuff, do you feel the need to make the recipes yourself? Like that, so you've got to do a bit of trial and error, or sometimes they don't taste as good as you pretend they do?
Definitely, no. So sometimes like I'll find like, say something like pops up on like TikTok or something, I'll just be like, oh, that looks pretty fresh. And then like I sort of just put my own spin on it. Maybe I'll just put like different sauces, or maybe I'll cook it a little bit differently. But there's some shit that I've just like sort of made and been like, I'm like, you sort of begin to understand the more that you like cook. And I definitely have for sure, like what goes with what. And you're just like, all right, well, what can I use? Or say, for example, like gochujang sauce. It's like this Korean like sort of chili paste like type shit, but I've been using that for everything lately because I just like love the taste of it. And so like mixing that with like different ingredients and whatnot, and just finding out, like this morning I made like a Korean steak like rice bowl, and it's pretty super simple, but like it's like tastes fucking unreal. And I was like, that's the sort of thing where you definitely do need like your own recipes, but like using other people's recipes and stuff, like I love to try out other people's recipes. Like it's fucking sick because like, you know, they've obviously put it up there. Hey, try it out. I'm like, all right, well, I'll try it out. See how it tastes like. Fucking mad.
Yeah. Well, there's only so many ways you can make certain dishes as well.
Exactly. And also like when I think about it, it's like everybody's like obviously like learn a recipe from like their nonna or their grandma, or like, you know, maybe they've learned it from like it's gone down from generation to generation to generation, and everyone does like a little bit differently and whatever. So yeah, recipes are sort of like all around. Yeah, it's just fun, man. It's just good shit.
And you've found. I've noticed recently with that Young Cook Go page, you've kind of changed up the formula a little bit. For a while, you were going for the pick the song, do a bit of a dance, smoke a joint, cook the thing, 3-second cuts or whatever it was. But now you're changing it up. Is that something you got bored of the old format, or you're just trying to keep it moving?
Yeah. I sort of it's sort of more. It's a time efficiency thing to just be able to do that. Also, like people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter every day, and so like putting up like the song and whatnot, like I do love doing that format, but I find that the retention rate to somebody actually like watching something like that is like, it can be a lot lower. So like if you're sort of like, boom, like in the face, like this is the hook, this is what you're going to get. Do you want to see how it's made? All right, well then that's how it's going to get made. So that like you're already sort of key in like the focus of someone that's, you know, wants to eat this sort of thing. So that's why I sort of, when I put it up, like they might see me and I look like this fucking like little rat motherfucker. Like, and I just like got this like good bowl of food, and they're like, there's no way this motherfucker made this. And then like I throw them and they're like, oh, maybe he did. And then and then that happens. So I find that mixing it up a little bit is good. Like I do a little bit of talking here and there, but I really want to get into long form with it because I just don't have the space at the moment. So I'm just trying to work up to being like, all right, now I can go somewhere, and like same thing like here, like to just get my little space where I can set it up and be like, all right, this is the long form. Been hanging out with like a lot of creators in that sort of field, and they've been helping me with some tricks and tips and stuff like that.
Cooking space?
Yeah. So like just like talking about stuff with them. And
do you feel over your head when you're talking to people like that? Because a lot of them would be actual chefs, aren't they?
100%. Yeah. Sometimes I feel out of place as fuck. But it's sort of the thing where like, I don't know, it's good to be out of place sometimes because like I've learned to just in, I don't know, probably the last 4 or 5 years, like listening is awesome. Like listening and just like sort of like indulging in just like all this talk. Like there's a bunch of shit that like I don't know maybe what they're talking about, but then like the next time that I'm in that situation, like I might have gone home and looked up like exactly what it was, and then like you'd learn.
I'm sure they could learn a bit from you too, man.
Yeah, 100%. Like people ask me about music shit like all the time and like how that works, and they're like, oh, what? I would never have expected this. So I'm like,
with the brand deal stuff, it must be hard because sometimes I'm guessing you get people to reach out and you're like, man, it's a cooking show. How am I going to wedge this into that, you know?
Yeah. It's like there's different, like there's some crazy ones that have been pushed up, but it's sort of, if you're creative enough to be able to do it, like
you did it with GIF the other day.
Yeah.
Like I looked at that and I'm like, fuck, it's got a lot of shares. So it's worked on your part, on their part.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that could easily go, man, this is brand partnership.
Yeah.
We're fucking it off. But if you make it funny enough, people will fuck with it.
100%. Well, I think that what it is, like, I've had this conversation with a bunch of people before. So, like, when brands come to you and they say, we want this exactly the way, like, here, we're going to give you, like, a run sheet of what it, like, is. I could guarantee, and so I'm sure that a lot of other creators could, that like that's not going to appeal to my audience. I know what my audience wants. Like I know that they're there to see me doing whatever the fuck I'm doing, really. But if it sort of veers off to like this thing of being like, hey, so today like we're going to try out the yada and yada yada, like it's not, like people are going to be like, I don't give a fuck. But then if you make it to the point of being like, how am I going to creatively like show people this and also be like, you know, this is what it does. Like it's a good product. And if you believe in the product even more and you use it, like I fucking use GIF, but like if you use it, it's like, all right, well, how do I do it? And I think like with me, I really love marketing. Like marketing's fun as like, I'm just like, how can I make this fork be appealing compared to like, how can I sell this basically? Like Wolf of Wall Street, like with the pen type thing. And it's like, that's where my brain goes. And I do a bit of like research and I think about stuff and I'm just like, all right. And I normally like in probably the first 30 to 40 minutes will come up just with like an idea and be like, all right, now how do I execute it? And then as soon, and like same with music, it's like, I've got an idea where like, you know, maybe I want to like film something where like the fan's rotating, but like I'm rotating with the fan, but the whole room is like not rotating. It's like, how do I achieve that? Like, all right, I'll get a stool and then I'll put it on the fan and then I've just got to go like the space of like the fan. Like it's shit like that where you just, your brain starts unlocking and because you are being creative, it's like you can just flow with it. Yep. And it's like when you're in the flow state, that's my favorite state to be in because I'm like, I don't think of anything else. Like people could be calling me, like I could have gone to, like to be meant to be meeting someone and I'm just like, I'm so sorry, man. Like I just got locked in. Like it's fucking crazy, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, when you find that zone, you just got to roll with it.
100%. Yeah, it's just it's a wild ride, but it's also something that's really, really sick. And I'm just like, I really, really appreciate like where I'm at.
And then not to jump forward, but when you were doing that stuff, then you did the song Snack.
Yep.
And so that pops off in a different way because I guess you've got a different food audience then.
Yep. So I had that under my belt for like 2 years. I had
Really?
I had that song done for 2 years, and I was like, I'm just waiting for the right time. And then like after it, I showed a bunch of people it, and they were like, this is a really good song, and I was like, I think it is, yeah, but like I want to do it to the point of like, how do I market it properly? And when that happened, I was like, fuck, like I've got this now. And then I started like pushing it through there, and people were like, oh, like it's like he's talking about food, but then he's also like he's made a song about it, and it's sort of like, it just couldn't have fitted like any better. No. And like, so that
and the double entendre with the snack and the,
yeah. And so I was just like, this is amazing. Like I've got like 2 outlets to push this through. And people sort of discovered me through like Snack because of like Young Cook God stuff. And yeah, it just got the ball rolling for a lot of other shit. So like, I mean, now like my fucking like Ivan Ooze stuff's like increased like a lot, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm blown away by all the shit that's happening at the moment. So it's pretty sick.
Because that track got picked up and like the publishing was used for stuff, wasn't it? For advertising and stuff?
Yeah, I think it was used for, what did it get used for? It got used for a couple of different things. I know Domino's used it for a couple of their ads, which was cool. But it was real funny because when when Domino's used it, they're like, all right, it's going to come up next week. I was like, yeah, sick. And then I think like they ran out of like whatever that they were selling like for that ad. And they're like, yeah, we're going to have to like postpone it for like another month. I was like, that's all right, no worries. Like we're going to get the stock back in because there's a shortage. I was like, yeah, fair enough. But yeah.
Getting those publishing deals has got to be good though, man.
Some of them are. Some of them are a little bit, I know, dismal. I know that there was a couple where I was just like, oh, really? Like that's all that it is. Like you get like the information and you're just like, oh, what the fuck? Like it's gonna be on a game or some shit like that. And then like it's like, yeah, but it's only like this much. And you're like, oh, damn. So yeah, there's a couple little bits and pieces. but it's pretty sick, dude.
Yeah. And when we were talking about before with people being keyboard warriors and fucking all that stuff, do you get it on the cooking shit as well?
Yeah, of course.
Really? So how is cooking offending people?
It's I don't know. It's like people just get real like involved with personal life shit as well. So I think that like they sort of see like what's going on in your personal life, and they think that they know a lot better than what you know because they obviously live it, don't they? And then you sort of like have to deal with like the comments of like them just being like this is this and this is that, and because I've learned to like not give a fuck about it, it doesn't affect me. Like it's just like a thing where it's like you can ask like a million times and I would not tell you. And like I'd like to keep all my personal shit to myself. Like unless I'm hanging out with a homie and I'm just like kicking it with them and like you're like, how's your life going, man? But like other than that, like I don't have any sort of like I have no need to tell you about anything. Yeah. And like some people like sort of get a bit off that. They're just like, man, I don't like why he's not telling me. And it's like just like you just respect privacy. Yeah. Like it's just that's all it is. Like I'm not gonna go and ask you about your life and like all that sort of shit. I mean, it's personal shit.
It's a balancing act between being a sort of public figure and keeping something to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. If someone asks me like a genuine question, like I'm gonna give them like an answer. But like if they're gonna get involved in like personal life shit, I'm just like. It just really baffles me how much people like sort of feed into that and that's their like reality. Like it's the same with like I don't understand why people watch like Love Island and like Jersey Shore or like shit like that. Like I've never understood it because it's like I have no desire to know gossip about people that I don't care about. Like and also on top of that, like you're just making idiots like be iconic. And it's like, why, like, some people are, like, funny. Some people have got, like, mad morals. I'm sure that, like, majority of them are sweet. And, like, they're all chill. But then there's also, like, this other element of it where I'm just like, I just don't get it.
No, man, I don't get it. But I'll tell you what's worse than the people that watch those shows are the people that strive to get on them.
Oh, yeah, dude. Dude, I completely agree, dude.
Yeah. For sure. But like every now and then I'll be like I don't watch that much TV, but I'll watch the football or stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then like you'll see these ads and I'm like Australian Idol. I'm like, how the fuck is that still on TV?
Yeah.
Who's watching this shit? It's bizarre.
Dude, I actually feel so like I reckon that their career killers, Like I reckon like some of those like Australian Idol, like X Factor shit, like it's so like I feel like they take like a lot of people and like naive artists as well that like, don't really understand the music industry and they put them in and they're like, you're in the like top 16 or whatever and like doing all this sort of stuff. And then when it's finished, it's just like they don't give you anything. And I'm just like, man, it's so like soul crushing sometimes to see that shit. Like you'll watch them and like they'll be like a fantastic singer or whatnot, but then nothing amounts from it because it's like, oh, you're the person from the reality TV show. Oh, I don't really know how to market that, like sort of thing. And yeah, it's a bit fucked, man.
Yeah, and then those people end up with the wrong end of the stick because they've got the somewhat fame but no money.
Yeah.
So you're walking down the street, every dickhead who watches commercial television wants to take a photo with you, but you've got no dollars and you've got to go back to work in your 9 to 5.
Exactly right. And I think that's just like, yeah, it's a bit gut wrenching. Like I've never had like the sort of feeling that I've ever wanted to appear or those things, but like, yeah, it's very fucked up, man. I hate it.
How do you deal with it? I'm guessing now like 500,000 followers on Instagram alone with a young cook guy, and I don't even know on TikTok what it is, but people must recognize you when you go down the supermarket and all that sort of shit.
It's sort of like, yeah, they do. It's sort of refreshing though, because I mean, like they're talking to you about food. So like, I mean, and food, like people that love food or whatever, like, they're like, oh man, you're the guy that smokes and cooks. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I am. And they're like, hell, fuck yeah, that's so sick, man. And I'm like, I'm always interested to like know like what's going on like with them and like who they are and shit like that, because that's just the type of person that I am. But like, yeah, I don't think like I let like anything, or I try not to, like especially like anything. I've never seen followers or shit. Like I don't really give a fuck about fame. Like as people say, famous. Like they'll be like, oh, you're so famous or whatever, and I'm just like, I still do everything that you do. Like every single thing that I do every single day, like I've still got the same problems. I still got all this sort of shit. It's just maybe I'm seen a decent amount more. But other than that, like I'm just a chiller. Like I just like to do what I like to do, man. Yeah. And like, it's refreshing when I do see people out. I like having the conversations. It is like an icebreaker sometimes, because it's like, I could be out at a bar and I might not know anybody, and then someone could come on and be like, hey, don't you do those fucking cooking videos? Like, yeah, and I'll fucking sit there and chat with them for like 45 minutes, like an hour, and I might have even made a new friend. Like, I don't even know, but it's just like all of those sort of things contribute to it, and I'm just very like thankful that everybody that sort of watches my shit is just a G. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's the bottom line of it, is like everybody that I've met through cooking, especially, and through my Ivan Ooze shit, like they're always just sick cunts. Like they're not. I don't really think I've ever met anybody that I've just been like, oh, I don't really fuck with you type thing. So it's been sick.
Yeah, man. And so then when you're doing your cooking stuff and you're out there buying your cooking shit, do people ever go, oh man, you've got chicken, what are you going to make with this? You know what I mean?
I haven't been asked that question yet. I'm actually surprised I haven't, to be honest. No, I like people will see me and they'll just sort of, I think that they get more, cooking people especially, like Ivan Ooze stuff, it'll be like, oh man, I love your music, we'll be able to get a picture. I'll be like, yeah, sure, 100%. But if like it's cooking, like I feel like people are so like taken back by it, like more so, which is way more like crazy to me because I'm just like, they sort of don't know what to say, or they might come up and just be like, oh, you like the cooking guy, whatever, like, oh, lovely to meet you. And I think because like I sort of continue the conversation, they don't ever have like a sort of I sort of lead it a little bit. So like they never like be like, oh, like what are you cooking or what's coming up next or anything. They're just normally like, me and my girlfriend love like smoking weed, and then we just like watch your shit. And sometimes we'll cook it. I'm like, dude, that's mad. What have you made? And then like I sort of just, because I've just learned over time to just know how to talk to people.
Do you post the recipes up anywhere, or they kind of got to watch them and find how to do it?
Yeah, so I didn't used to, and now I am doing it like a lot more, but I'm in the process of like doing like website stuff, in the process of a cookbook, in the process of a bunch of different things. It's just like, as I said, juggling it all. And like I just got a manager like that is helping me out with all of my cooking shit, and she's an absolute weapon. Thank you, Kat. and she's just been like, it's been so sick. So I'm in like a good place with all of it, and I've just been having heaps of fun, man.
Yeah, and speaking of being in a good place, you seem to be in a good place with your mental health, and you did say that you were in a bit of a bad place. For people out there that might be having a bad time, what worked for you? Was it speaking to somebody professionally? Was it medication? Was it learning different, you said before, with the anxiety, different exposure therapy?
Yep.
Like, what worked for you personally?
For me personally, like the main thing, I guess, is learning to understand that like my problems are my problems. Being able to, I did go to therapy for a little while. I was lucky enough to go and speak to a woman through like a carers therapy like type thing through the Alfred Hospital, and she helped me like understand like a lot more. I read like a bunch of books on which I didn't really read before that, but I did read a bunch of books about like certain things that were basically like affecting me and my mental health, and also like the people around me and stuff like that. Pulling back on certain like substances, like drinking a lot. I find that like when I go out, if I do go out, like if it would be like a Saturday or Sunday, or Friday, Saturday night, and I'd binge drink, like that would fuck me, man. Like I'd literally just wake up in the morning and like have like mental loops and shit like that. So it's really just being aware of yourself and what are the key triggers, and then also just being like, well, how am I gonna get over this shit? And like, I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel like this. Like if I go and have a fucking like, a bit of that or whatever, then how long am I gonna feel fucked for? Like, do I need this? Like, how do I operate? And I think like just having a little bit of that self-awareness and understanding that like, all that shit is just, if it feels better to be happy and like to just be like, you do want to party. Like I still feel like I want to go out and get fucked up and like do all that sort of shit. But also like the repercussions of it are just so hectic that it's just like, well, exercise helps me. Like drinking water helps me. Like being focused mentally and getting the things that I want to do done and achieved help me. Like that's all the things that I'm just like very much about and very clear now. And I think it took me ages to understand it. Like I'm not saying it happened overnight. Like I've been struggling with mental health since I was 17 years old. And I'm 33 now. And it's like I've over the past like probably 2 years, like I've learned so much. It's just about like mental, like just literally mental illness, like disorders, shit like that. And I've just gotten to this place where I'm like, I know what's good for me and I know what's not good. And it took me time to understand that. Like you've got plenty of time to be able to understand it. It's just like however fast like you want it, like it's going to be a slow process, and it's going to be something where you go at your own pace. It's no competition. It's no like anything like that. It's just once you get there and you're just like, all right, well, this is how I have to like continue going. And there's always going to be hurdles and other little bits and like slip ups and like fucking like, relapses and like all that sort of shit. But you just get back up. You're just like, all right, I'm getting back on my feet. I'm going to go do this type of shit. Like I lost a mate like fucking 3 or 4 years ago now, and like that shit fucked me up like so bad, and he was like my best mate, and like it sort of like got to that point where I was just like, you know what, I don't want any of my mates to feel like that. I don't want to feel like that. Like he didn't talk to anyone about it, and this is what happened. And I'm like, I can't let that happen to me, and I don't want to let that to happen to anyone else. So I always try to help my mates through shit, but also like there's a level where I've got to be like, I can't help
Take
you
on
anymore.
their issues too,
yeah, because if I get to like that level, I'm just like, dude, I'm just worrying about you, and it's gonna fucking pollute me and like do all this stuff. And I really hope that you do get through it, but fuck me, man. Like you're really testing my patience. So yeah, there's all that bit, but I definitely think that going through all of like the things that I've been through, it's just made me like a more level-headed person, and I'm happy with where I'm at now, and I like love everybody that's around me, and like yeah, it's real sick. Like it's awesome.
That's I think, and some amazing advice in there. But I think definitely for some people that are struggling, I think if you're surrounding yourself with the wrong people or you're in certain environments that aren't great, you just got to get out of them, which is hard for so many people because, like you said, some people have got support people around them and good people, but some people don't necessarily, and that's the hardest thing, man.
When I was like 17, like from not even 17, let's say 14, from 14 to I would say 28, 29, 30. Every single weekend would be go out on the weekend and get fucked up. Go out on the weekend and get fucked up. Recover Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, go out to fucking like nightclub or bar, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes maybe Sunday. Everything that's in Australia now, and like this is something that's really fucked up to me, is like it's so acceptable to get on drugs. So acceptable. And the reason why everyone's so fucked in their head is because of all the shit that they do to their head. And it's like some people can wake up and be like, no, that's not the reason why I feel like this, and like all that shit. Well, like, yeah, it is. And it's like all of this shit takes a toll, whether it be like you're doing it early on or you're doing it later. Like it's just a whole thing. Like I smoke weed, but like I'm moderated. Like I'm not someone that's gonna fucking like absolutely like abuse like drugs anymore, because I know what's gonna happen, and I don't want to feel like that. Yeah. And there's like a bunch of people that it's like, I think that people do need to know as well, especially that like getting on fucking bags every single weekend is going to fuck you up. Like it's going to absolutely ruin you.
And financially put you in a hole, man.
Literally. And you're going to get addicted, and you don't think that you're going to be, but you are. And like, that's the thing, is like, some people can be so fucking stubborn and like so just like sticking to their guns about like certain shit, and it's just like the people that are telling you no are the people that are your mates that give a fuck about you. And if you can't get that and you can't understand that, they're all gonna disappear. And you're gonna be like, everyone fucking hates me, but they don't. They're just like, it's fucked, man. But yeah, that's something that was a big thing for me, that it's like I've just learned like a lot recently, like, and I still see it now and stuff, and it just is what it is. But I hope that like everybody out there is like, fucking everyone's got problems and shit, but like talk to your mates, fucking talk to everybody that's out there that like, like how it is. Fucking some people trauma dump and shit, and that's cool. Like as long as you trauma dump it to the right people and they're pushing you into the right direction, fucking do it, go nuts. Like it's good shit.
And just abusing stuff it will never fix your problems. If anything, it makes them worse.
Yeah.
Like it might, and there's like an old sort of cheesy saying, but you're just sort of borrowing some happiness from tomorrow, sort of thing.
Dude, that's a great saying. Like literally that. Like it's so much to do with like the next day. Like some people live so far in the moment that like they're so confused by why they feel like that the next day. And like that's when you have the mental clarity, you've got to like sometimes have it like you got to take a step back and assess yourself and be like what was it? Like what was it really? Like was it just me that day? Like no, it's not. It's because like you're doing all these things to yourself. Like
but I think a lot of the time, man, with people that do get really into substances, whether it's booze or any sort of drugs, is probably because they haven't dealt with trauma from the past. That is a big part of it. And as you get older, we start to talk about that. We learn maybe talking to somebody or just accepting what the trauma is that you've been through is an easier way to stop the cycle of just abusing substances.
Dude, like I say to everybody now, I'm like, regardless of like whatever you've been through, if you go to therapy, and this is the best way to like sort of tell what I find to tell someone, if you go to therapy, you're going to somebody that has a blank slate. They don't know anything about you. They don't know but they don't have judgment towards you. They don't
preconceived notions of what you're about.
Yeah, and it's fucking scary to go and fucking get the key to all the shit that's happened to you and put it in your brain and go and unlock that and sell it to someone that you've never met. But that person has been literally like, they've been studying to help you. They've been studying to literally go there and be like, I want to help this person so they don't feel like shit anymore. That's literally what their fucking job is. Yep. And yeah, it might be expensive and yeah, like that, but what, like, I would prefer to not feel like shit. Yeah. Like, I would pay fucking $200 a session each week to go in there for fucking 6 months and figure out my shit. So then when I come out of the other side in the 6 months, be like, all right, I'm actually sort of like on top of my shit now. I can sort of I can still go out and party a little bit, but when it gets to this level, like maybe I got to tone it down and you come to understand it. And it's like, that's all it is. I'm not saying that like, you know, it is fucking scary, but go and do it.
And people that say, oh man, I can't afford therapy. Well, you also can't afford a bag for $300 every week. So I'm sure you can afford $150 to talk to someone and you get 10 free sessions to start with.
Prioritizing the drugs over the therapy
doesn't make sense.
Nah. It's wild.
But it's good to see, man, that you're in a good spot now, and obviously that you've dealt with some of your issues. But I guess it's always something you work on, and you know you get those. Oh man, I want to go party, but is it going to be worth it for the next 2 days?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm not saying I'm an angel. I definitely still go out and have fun and do the things that I'm doing. It's just like moderation is key, and my dad said that to me since I was little. Like, he's just been like, moderation's key. Like, he's always said it, and I always used to look at my parents and like, cause I was a fucking little shit when I was younger. And like, I just used to be like, they don't know what they're talking about. And like, I feel like every year that something like happened, I'd be like, fuck, they like told me about this or something. And like, I just didn't listen cause I'm a dickhead.
No, but it happens to everybody, man. And like, I think you get to that age, for me and for you, it seems it was like kind of like your late 20s, early 30s where you go, maybe these older people were onto something.
Yeah.
But you don't. But in your early 20s, you can't see that.
No. I think that I just lacked maturity when I was like at that point. Like I was like sort of like still in 25, 26 or whatever. Like when you're still meant to be like you know, you're meant to be like an adult or whatever. I still feel like a kid, but I'm just like, I just know more now. But when you're completely right. When you get to like that 28 to like 30 benchmark, like my brain just started being like, well, I'm seeing shit differently now. Like,
I think that's when we actually hit maturity as people.
Yeah, right.
I think that's it. Like, we're 18, we're technically mature as far as what society says.
Yeah, you can go get a drink.
But I think like 28, 29 is when your human brain kind of reaches maturity.
Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, well, so then that sort of answers my question, but yeah.
Makes sense. So then aside from the Young Cook God stuff, then you did start doing more music and you did a show at Laundry, you did a couple of your own shows?
Yeah, so I did a show at Laundry. I did one at Gasso, like the Gasso before it just shut. But yeah, they were really good. So we were just running off that. And then I did a couple of Bliss and Esso support shows. And then the boys were like, because I covered for, I think a couple of supports dropped out. They're like, oh, can you get to Jindabyne? And I was like, oh, fuck, like it's like an 8-hour drive, but like I'll just do it. Like, fuck it, whatever. And so I did that. And then they asked me when I was in Sydney, they're like, oh, can you support in Penrith? And I was like, yep, for sure. And then, yeah, I sort of just like, did a bunch of shows with them. And then they hit me up and they're like, we want you to do this tour. And I was like, sick, let's fucking do it.
And what's this tour called? It's called the
Party on the Moon. Yeah, so Party on the Moon tour. They just put out a new album. They just actually announced another album, which is fucking mad. And then
it's like Dark Side of the Moon or something
I think there's Light Side. Yeah, Light Side and the Dark Side.
But man, and that album went number 1, I think, on the ARIA charts too. So they're kicking goals.
They're fucking killing it, and like they're still killing it, and they're fucking legends as well. Like, I mean, the boys are just insane individuals. I really appreciate them giving me the opportunity to just do this. Yeah, like I can't actually thank them enough, to be honest.
How many dates are we talking? I think there's a lot.
Yeah, there's 29 dates, so it's going to be pretty fucking...
In what, in like 2 months?
Yeah, so from May to... Like, we're about to go on, Friday, and it starts in Toowoomba, and I think it ends in Darwin, I think. Yeah, but it's over from, May to August.
Right.
So I'm just,
Get some frequent flyer points up.
100%. Hopefully I get that velocity.
You'd want to.
I hope it does.
They'll be waving to you on the other side of the thing. You're like, man,
literally.
No, you'll definitely get those miles up there.
I hope so. Yeah. No, my manager said the exact same thing. He's like, no, you probably get a bunch. I'm like, fuck, I hope so again. I was in the Gold Club for a little bit, and then I got bounced out. They were like, no, they threw me out, and I was like, damn, because I used to love going in there and just getting a little bit of snack.
Yeah, man, and they've always got the free booze there too if you want to indulge. Yeah. So man, that must be a big sort of well, for this point, the cooking's kicking off, but that is really giving your music a boost again, you know?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So that's why I've just been like hustling it. I mean, I did It's so funny because I was literally speaking to my booking agent the other day. I'm like, it's funny how like you go and put out all these songs and shit, and like you know that they do well or whatever, and then you post like a freestyle in the car again, like every other time that I've done it, and it's just over a fucking techno beat, and then it just pops off, and then we literally like we were talking about it because there was another song I did well, not necessarily a remix, but I did like this freestyle over Better Off Alone. And then, yeah, that's going like really well at the moment. And then one of my homies, Rory, just like reproduced it into like a bit of like a drilly track and about to put that out. So, yeah, there's just some crazy shit going on, man.
For sure. And getting back to the accent debate a little bit, when you do have something that is not so Aussie, it gives you more global appeal.
Definitely.
So people, like you said, over the other side of the world, they can kind of fuck with it a bit more than maybe if you had that sort of Ocker twang.
If I had, I can guarantee that if I like had more of that Ocker twang like present and I was posting that on Young Cook God, I don't think I would like cross over as much because of the amount of people that are over there, like American like viewers and whatnot. And I think that is what the appeal is. But now that you listen to like, you know, lots of up and comers and whatnot and people that are rising, like there's still like Aussie accent very much present, but a lot of them don't have one.
Yeah.
And so like, and that's because of just like appeal. And like, I mean, if you want to succeed in something, you want to get your music heard and whatnot, like that's just something that you got to do now.
For sure. And even like you look at someone who's as big as Mr. Beast, he said that he dubs his videos in every language because he's like, if they're just English, then we've only got a small section of the world.
Exactly right.
So if you sort of focus on too much of just your niche,
Yep.
your area, you don't have that wider appeal.
Definitely. And speaking of Mr. Beast as well, I watched like this. There was something that was great that he said like about marketing as well, because I'm just a nerd with it.
He's a
absolute marketing genius. But there was one thing he said about like a fucking, I think it was a pink cow or blue cow. And it's like, you can go out there and like drive past and like go into like the fields or whatever, and you'll see like 1,000 like, you know, black cows, like, you know, like white cows, whatever. But if you see that one like pink cow, you're like, what the fuck? You're like, there's a pink cow. Like what the fuck is that? And then it stays in your head and you're like, why was there a pink cow out there? Like, that was so crazy that we saw that pink cow. And it's like, with marketing, it's like your shit that you're putting out there has got to be the pink cow. You got to catch the attention of people. And like, that's stuck with me for so long now. Cause I'm just like, what am I going to do to make whatever I'm doing be that pink cow and be the thing that's going to be like, that's going to cause like the retention rate, be like, oh man, I want to keep watching this because this is like nuts. I've never seen this before type thing. Yeah. And like, that's basically what he said he does with all these videos. And I was like, well, I mean, if that guy's fucking killing it, you got to take advice from people that are killing it.
Yeah, for sure. When we're talking about who you don't take advice from, he's the guy you do take advice from because he's doing it right.
Yeah,
but it's hard, man. Like, because I think that's really good advice, and like I just liken it to what I'm doing with this podcast. And I know there's ways that I could push it, but I don't want to do too much cheesy shit. Do you know what I mean? So it's finding that balancing act between where you sit with your vision of what you want to produce and what people want.
Exactly. You got to remember about like branding is like, and people sometimes forget that like you can be like the craziest artist like in the world. Like I've heard people's voices that are absolutely fucking insane, and I've seen rappers that are crazy, but they don't know how to market themselves. And it's like marketing comes into it. Like maybe like back in the day and stuff. Like there's still heaps of like when like say for example with Rolling Stones or whatever, like Keith Richards and Mick Jagger. And like my dad used to always tell me this as well. Like they used to party pretty hard. Like you'd always see them in photos, like they have Jack Daniels, they have cigarette or whatever. But like what people don't understand is like they'd be chilling backstage and like Mick Jagger's fucking been like training for like the last like 3 months to like go nuts on stage. And then when it comes to like, oh, we want to take a picture, they'd be like, oh, wait, hold on. And they'll go and get all the shit and they'd get like, oh, let me just get this Jack Daniels and pour half of it out and just pretend to drink it and all that sort of shit. It's all smoke and mirrors. Like it's all shit that's like, it's all marketing. It's all like the purpose of that, like the general public. They sort of like manipulate it, and it's like you need to learn how to market yourself, what your brand is, how it appeals to certain people, and once you understand the baseline of that, you will start thriving because like you're just like, oh, now I can do this, and if I push it into this direction, well, now I can take little bits and pieces out of that, and it's like people like you just gotta fucking do it. Like I know a bunch of musicians like, man, I have to fucking do this shit. Like I'm like, dude, if you want to fucking succeed, like 100%, like you gotta push your shit. Like there's some days where I'll be posting verses that like, you know, I post a verse after a verse after a verse after a verse, and yeah, it can be fucking taxing because you're just like, I'm doing the same video again, but the way that the algorithm works and the way that TikTok works and Instagram and whatever, like you're reaching new people. Some people that were on their phone that day weren't on their phone this day, or some people that weren't on their phone this day are on their phone that day, and you're getting different people's going into different ways or whatever. There's stuff that, like, say for example with Snack, I've posted shit with Snack and it didn't do well at all. But then some days I'll post Snack and it's the exact same thing, and I've just done something like a little bit different, maybe like sort of more like engaging, goes nuts. Yeah. And it's like, it's all to do with that sort of shit. And unfortunately, like as a musician, yeah, it does sort of suck if you're so music driven and based, but also like you've got to have the two.
True, yeah. And I think with social media, they never penalize you for putting out too much content.
No, they encourage it.
Right. So that's the thing. So say you've got something that you want to do like you throw shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Yep.
And then when you find that thing that sticks, then you can workshop that and then work around it. This seems to work with people. How can I go do more of that?
Definitely. There's a dude that like literally posts, I follow him, but he literally posts Omni rice, which is like just like an omelet, like it's sort of like a pillow omelet, which like goes over rice and like he cuts it down the middle. He's been posting like those fucking videos every day. Like he does a new one every day, but he's been posting these videos, like no music or anything, for fucking like, I don't even know how long it is now, but every time it comes up, like I'll watch it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh damn, you did a good one today or some shit. And it's just like all of those things. It's like rinse and repeat. Like, yeah, it can be taxing or whatever, but like it like these platforms are starting to become shit posting platforms. And when you look at retention rate with people like viewers and stuff, like if you look at your friends and they're sitting down like having a beer or whatever and having a ciggy and they're on their phone, look at how fast they're fucking swiping through their shit. Like it can be dudes that's like that. Like someone might have like seen your video for 1 second and then been like, gone. Like it's out. And it's like whatever that you've put all your effort into doing, they didn't even care about it that day. But then there might be a day where it's like a little bit more, I don't know, like sort of like chill, and they've got time to watch it, and then they watch it and they like it, and then you gain a new fan. And it's like, that's how it works.
But even in this day and age, it doesn't even really matter about the followers, because you can put your shit out there the way that the algorithms work, and you might be seen by a lot of people that don't follow you. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah. And that's another, like, it really depends on like times, like looking up times, looking up like what your target audience is, like what time they wake up, what time they go to sleep, when are they most active, or analytics. Like,
do you look at the US market for the young
people? 100%. Like I look at everything that's going on, and like I'm a bit of a fucking nerd when it comes to that sort of shit, but it's like, it's not hard to understand if you put your time into it. It's just if you want to put your time into it, and it's like, it's going to benefit you for sure. I can guarantee you that. But the thing is that when you're doing all of these things, it can be taxing, because you're just like at heart, I'm like, I am a musician. Like I like making music. I love making videos. Like I do. Like I fucking love editing as well. But
how long does an edit take you on one of those videos?
Like on a cooking one, or like cooking one, I can smash them out pretty fast now. Like maybe like 15, 20 minutes
with CapCut or something.
With CapCut.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's like when I first started doing it, I'd be like, oh, I wonder how to do it or whatever. Now I'm just like, oh, I got to get this done. Like I cooked this morning, and I'll drive back home, and I'll be able to smack it out in like, I don't know, because I'm trying to, now I'm like, no retention rates and whatnot, and I'm just making them shorter. I'm going to the point of being like, all right, well, there's so much that's in like these videos of like, say you're just doing like dumbass shit, maybe you like smoke, maybe you do all this, but when I like think about it, I'm like, if I'm watching it, do people want to see that? Like they sort of do at some points in time, but sometimes you just want to see what you've seen.
What do they want now, 30 seconds or something?
Yeah, about 30 seconds. Like it could be 30, like the shorter the better, honestly, dude. Like people are so like, it's fucked, man. It's just goldfish-like attention spans.
Could you do it like, so there's a 2-minute one for YouTube, for Instagram, and like a 30-second one for TikTok or anything? Or are the attention spans the same for both platforms, you reckon?
I think TikTok's a little bit faster, to be honest.
Younger demographic, it's just like getting less and less time.
Younger demographic can go through 30, like I reckon you could go through 30 TikToks and tell you in the first 2 seconds what every TikTok is. And like, and that's what blows me away. I'm just like I can understand it, but I'm also just like, fuck, man, like, because I'm just someone that likes to like learn shit as well. And then I've got other homies that are younger than me, because like, you know, you got to keep around like everybody that's sort of like in all different aspects, areas of life. And they like know like all these memes. Like they'll like know like about certain shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, I haven't seen any of this shit, like what you're doing. And it just baffles me to the point of being like, Like, why are you retaining this information?
Man, it's crazy. My son's 5 and he gets on his iPad every now and then.
Yep.
And he's like, Dad, do you ask people to like and subscribe? And I'm like, yeah, I sort of have to. But he knows about this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like kids are learning this shit earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
And you got to remember now, if you're 20 years old, YouTube's been around for your whole life.
Yeah, dude.
You know? So it's just a different time to live.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. It's a very crazy place, but it's I don't know. Like technology has always been something that I've been very like I've been very happy to understand it and very happy to implement it in like my shit. So I think that I sort of like to thrive with it, and like I really like I love learning about it. Like there's all these little bits and pieces that like little tips and whatever, and when someone's telling me about some like new stuff or whatever, I'm like, oh, okay. Or like if fucking Instagram or Meta has hit me up being like, oh, come use our new app or come and do that, do it. Because they obviously, the reason why they're telling you to do it is they want people to use it, and they're probably going to push your shit out because all coding comes from apps, all of that shit. If they can tell that you've edited it through, say, for example, you put a TikTok video up, but you edited it all in TikTok, they're going to be like, oh, well, he's using our platform way more, so we're just going to push it out there. Oh, Instagram.
But do you cross-do them, though?
Not particularly. Like I do it all in CapCut now because it's just time efficiency. But if I was doing that and I've got the platform now, I obviously still want to grow it, and like there's certain things that I can do, but it sort of just depends because I've got like a decent following that like people like what I'm doing, like I guess like what I'm doing, but they'll just be like, oh yeah, sick, like he's made something that's fucking good or whatever, and then they'll sort of push it in that way because people are viewing it. If I was smaller and like doing that sort of shit, it depends on what you're focusing. So like if you wanted to focus TikTok, I would edit everything in TikTok, but they just put out like a new Instagram edits app or whatever that like is literally sort of similar to CapCut. I'm sure if you're using that, fucking smash it on Instagram. Yeah.
I'm old school, man. I like to try and sit down like with a desktop because I like have a bit of space. Like I don't like doing it on my phone.
Yeah.
It's because my eyes are cooked and I'm old.
Yeah. No, I used to use like Premiere Pro like quite a lot, but
Yeah.
I sort of think that it's just time efficiency again, and also just really easy to say if I'm like waiting for something or I'm like in the car or something like that, I can be like, oh, I can smash out half of this edit and then like do the other half when I get back. It can be annoying sometimes, but yeah, it's pretty chill.
What about AI, man? Do you fuck with that at all?
I do. I fuck with AI heaps.
Really?
Yeah, I'm about it, man. It's a bit scary, but it's like, I don't know. I'm more scared of these. I'm more scared of these motherfuckers trying to clone the Tasmanian tiger right now.
Yeah.
Because like
That's Jurassic Park shit, man.
dude, trust me. Like I literally was like, I could just imagine like as soon as like anybody that's like into any type of terrorism like gets into that fucking shit, like you're gonna be like,
I didn't even think of that.
yeah, T-Rex is like lasers on their head and shit, some Dr. Evil shit. Like,
It's crazy. But so what do you use? ChatGPT or Claude or what?
Yeah. So Chat GPT for like a bunch of stuff. You can just do like heaps with it, man, and it's very like. It's very interesting what it knows. You can do coding as well.
Are you using it for your website stuff?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of shit that I'm sort of like getting involved in at the moment with that. It's just, dude, that it depends on how you word things as well, but like...
It's all about the prompts, yeah?
Yeah.
See, I've never really used it, but I watch heaps of videos about using it
Yep.
because I want to understand it because I feel like it's coming.
Yeah.
But I still haven't used it.
Yep.
Or used it in a way that it's worked.
Yeah, no, I completely...
So I feel like I just want to stay on top of it because it is going to get better.
Yeah, well, you could even ask it how to do that.
Yeah.
And then like it's still got... And especially if you've... Because you can like buy like a... Well, they ask you to like sort of buy an account or whatever. But if you buy an account with it, it retains all the information that you've ever given it.
Is that good or bad?
I would say that like probably it's a bit of both, but also it's like I don't think if you don't use anything, like it doesn't mean that no one knows anything about you. Like there's so many ways to be able to tell like what's going on these days that like, you know, people can be super suspicious on like fucking like AI sort of shit and like that sort of stuff. But I mean, like if you're not asking it like to hide a dead body, or you're not like asking it about like how to make like meth or some shit, like I don't think that you're really like anyone that they're going to be really wanting to track.
But it's like in the 90s, people were like, "There's no way I'd ever do my banking on the internet."
Oh yeah, 100%.
And now, like, who would go into a bank? Like, it's a pain in the ass, and there is none around anyway.
Yeah,
so,
they don't have money in them anymore,
yeah,
do they?
so we just get used to these things over time.
Yeah, you got to be able to, I think, accept like that. I mean, when TikTok first came out, no one wanted to fucking use TikTok. And then now everyone's like, TikTok. And it's like, same with Instagram. Like, Instagram started up and it was just all pictures. Now it's like the heaviest, like where all like your shit comes from. So I mean, it's all like progression, but you just gotta like stick with the times with some of this shit, man. Like if you're involved in anything to do with like that, you have to market yourself, social media. That's the thing you've got to fucking like live by.
Yeah, and I think for what you're doing, and even for a lesser extent what I'm doing, we're reasonably safe because with all this AI, people are going to strive to actually see humans and hear them talk.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think that like
to watch you cook is going to people be like, that's refreshing.
Yeah. Like there's so many things where I watched this guy the other day, and he did like all his like inspiration, like this was so cooked, dude. So he did all this inspirational like shit through AI, made like a full like what do you call it? Like a
avatar.
Yeah, avatar. That's it. Made an avatar of himself. Did like this speech thing for like, I think you have to do it for like 2 hours where you say all these words or whatever. He had made something like every day. He was posting something like 4 videos of like inspirational shit of like him sitting there like talking about facts, and it was just him putting it through ChatGPT. ChatGPT would put it through like the talking app, and then it would just be him. So he wasn't actually doing anything, and he got up to like, I don't even know how much it was. It was up to like 3 million, 4 million followers or whatever. Brands were just asking him to do stuff. He'd be like, yep, sure, no worries. Put it in through the thing, yada, yada, yada. And he literally would be like sitting at home doing absolutely nothing and making like a killing. And I was like watching that sort of shit. And I'm like, that's a bit scary because like, even like if I see like my parents at home or whatever and they've shared something like that's AI, they don't know it's AI. And like older people are just, I'll sort of be like, Mum, that's like, that's not real. Like, and like, or like there'll be like a puppy that's like crossbred or something, and I'm like, that's AI. That's not a real thing. And they're like, what? Like, don't understand it. So, yeah, it can be scary, but I think that if it's used in the correct ways, which majority of it is, but I mean, anything could just happen to become like, you know, the Terminator or Elysium or some shit. So I think it will happen probably sooner than later. But
yeah, and I think a lot of people that have monotonous jobs are going to be in trouble from
that's definitely scary. Like sort of cancelling jobs with AI, like is already going to come in. I was working like a part-time job, and they started getting rid of all the casuals or whatever because all the software that they had, they only needed one person at the start. So yeah, it can definitely start getting a bit hectic.
For sure, man. What else is coming up? So you've got the Bliss and SO tour. You've got new music coming out. You've got new Young Cook God stuff. Tell us what's happening as we get close to wrapping it up in 2025 for Ivan Ooze / Young Cook God.
Yeah, so there's plenty of music on the way. Doing the Better Off Learn freestyles coming out very, very, very soon. Bliss and SO tour all through May and August. So come down, fucking have heaps of fun. Yeah, it'd be fucking sick.
Is it just you supporting? There's different other local supports in different cities?
No, I think it's just me. I'm not too sure, but I think it might just be me supporting, and then my DJ Junior is doing like the crossovers. Oh, cool. So so we're just doing that whole run, which will be fucking mega awesome. Young Cook God, just heaps of just shit in the works. Nothing in complete concrete yet, but we're just smashing it through.
Man, it's been a good chat. We've covered a lot of stuff. I just enjoy hearing you talk about stuff you're passionate about. It's
Thank you. I appreciate it. No, thank you so much for having me. And sorry it took me so long to get here.
It's been a while in the making, but I'm glad you finally came down here. You smashed out the track too, and we've had a great chat. I look forward to seeing where you go with the Ivan Ooze stuff and where you go with the Young Cook God shit, man. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. And yeah, it's been an epic chat. So chat.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
1000.